tonight we'll see if FDNY can extend it to 4 consecutive Fun City Bowls, or if the NYPD can make it 4 straight national championships. I'm now joined alongside my broadcast partner for tonight's game, John Heffernan. John, it's our final FRN broadcast of the season, and what a way to end it with these two marquee teams, the FDNY and NYPD, renewing their rivalry.
Well, Tom, it's been an incredible season here on FRN, our new broadcast partner here with the National Public Safety Football League. And I got to tell you, Tom, no matter what the games we have covered have been this year, the only one that matters and the only game that's circled on both of these teams behind me calendars is this game, June 3rd. We've got 2 undefeated teams going head-to-head for the national championship and the Fun City Bowl trophy. I am pumped up. It's going to be a great one tonight.
That's right, folks. The NPSFL has doubled down. The Fun City Bowl and the NPSFL National Championship are both up for grabs tonight. And, John, while we have a moment, let's talk about some of the history and background of the Fun City Bowl and the NPSFL. Let's start with the Fun City Bowl. Tonight is the 50th anniversary of the football game. The rivalry started in 1973. Cops and firemen consisted of a football team called the Brooklyn Mariners. They had a little dispute, a little argument on who would be better, and here we are 50 years later.
But the story goes, 1973, the late, great Pudgy Walsh was at the Mariners Inn in Brooklyn, along with Joe Loughran from the New York City Police Department, and they, after a couple of beverages, were saying, you know what, if we had a football team, if you had a football team, who would win? And that began the whole National Public Safety League, which is now the NPSFL. Folks, we're going to take a brief time out to honor America as it's time to rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. We'll be back with more keys to the game and players to watch right after this.
For the NYPD and FDNY Honor Guard and the singing of our national anthem, performed tonight by New York City Police Officer Jonathan Perez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you.
Welcome back, folks, to Uniondale, New York, here at the Mitchell Field Complex, site of tonight's 50th annual Fun City Bowl football game. Tom Scavetta joined alongside John Heffernan. John, we just had the national anthem performed. The chopper flew over midfield. What a beautiful scene here tonight with these two teams vying, as we mentioned prior to break, not just the Fun City Bowl, but the national championship as well.
Absolutely. Pre-game ceremonies continue here at Mitchell Field. Gorgeous flyover. Anthem is in the books. A stirring rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. And, Tom, it always feels like a little bit of an eerie calm before the storm. A little cloudy out. The lighting's kind of eerie. And make no mistake, Tom, these two teams have no love lost. I mean, they both often use the word hatred. to describe how they feel about each other on the field. Off the field, it's mutual respect. They tip their caps to one another, and they both need each other in the streets of New York City as they do work arm in arm, hand in hand off the field. But today, it's all about football, Tom, and the captains for the Fire Department of New York are lining up for the ceremonial coin toss, and we will wait for the police department to make their way out onto the field as well.
John, while we have a moment, let's go over some of the history of this rivalry. 14, a little fun fact, history fact here, 14 of 49 Fun City Bowls have been decided by 3 points or fewer. The NYPD won the first Fun City Bowl in 1973 by 1 point, 21-20. And also another fun fact, the Fun City Bowl trophy is 50 years old. It was donated by the Downtown Athletic Club back in 1973, and it's been a marquee ever since. FDNY has won 4 of the last 5 Fun City Bowls. NYPD looking to win their first since 2018, and that kind of talks about the NPSFL and the state that we're in here. The NYPD looking for that Fun City Bowl, but they've had a lot of success winning national championships.
Absolutely, and Tom, you talk a little bit about the history, formerly known as the National Law Enforcement League, 1996 becoming the National Public Safety Football League as the ceremonial coin toss, Tom, is about to get underway. We'll take...
All right, as we see head ref Corey Hansen, the official coin toss. And it looks like NYPD won, and they elect to receive. So that's how things will get started here. John, NYPD has 12 national titles. They've won 5 of the last 8 NPSFL championships. FDNY with 4 national titles in 6 appearances. So we will see what happens shortly. And John, definitely an interesting storyline tonight between both of these head coaches for the Fire Department of New York City. It starts with second-year head coach Cameron Peak, who is yet to lose a football game as head coach. He's undefeated at 9-0.
Yeah, Cam Peak, second-year head coach, has meant so much to this run for the Fire Department of New York. A low-key guy, played on this Fire Department team, and just has continued this legacy, Tom. We've talked to Cam several times this week. He's fired up. He said, you know, I'm in a constant mode of yellow. I'm always on alert. I'm always looking around, and he feels like it's more intensified this week with this game about to kick off here at Mitchell Field. And Stevie Orr said, John, if we win this thing, I'm talking about the special team coach for the Fire Department, food tastes better. The sun shines brighter. We feel better as a team, as a city. They're looking to bring it home, and we are about to get underway in the 50th annual Fun City Bowl.
The head coach for NYPD is Kevin Shanahan in his 14th season, been the head coach since 2010. FDNY wearing their road white jerseys with the red helmets and navy trim. The NYPD in their Notre Dame style blue and gold uniforms with the white numbers. Francis Cole, number 15, is set to kick. Back deep to receive are number 9, Kyle Johnson, and number 12, Chris McGrain. We are underway with an end-over-end kick at 6:26 p.m. Eastern Time. Johnson takes the opening kickoff, looking for some daylight, and he is stumped down by Elijah Toussaint, number 37, at the 17-yard line, and that is where the NYPD will begin.
Great coverage on the kickoff by number 42 in there as well, Cardenas, and number 30, Muhammad Camille. Excellent coverage. And, you know, Tom, emotions have to be running high on both sides. It's so important to contain these emotions, not cause a ton of penalties, set the tone early, and FD's got to be happy with their coverage there as the police department will take over on their own 16-yard line.
NYPD in an I formation set. The quarterback is Anthony O'Connell. in his first season as the starter. Joe Baccia is the fullback, and the handoff is taken by Will Woodley. He is stumped down nicely by a couple of FDNY defenders. It looks like Frank Zerbo and Richie Richards got in there. Minimal yardage.
And there's already a little trash talking going on down there on the field.
Yeah.
Button heads just a little early.
Folks, we're going to take a look at the NYPD offensive starters here. Quarterback Anthony O'Connell in the backfield. It's number 2, Will Woodley. His receivers are number 9, Kyle Johnson, number 12, Chris McGrain. The slot receivers, number 22, Nico Ramirez, who's a captain. J.P. Donato, number 3. We'll get to the O-line in a moment. O'Connell rolls left, throws over the head of Donato, incomplete. So O'Connell's first pass of the game sails wide. To wrap up the offensive line at left tackle, Samuel Aristide. Left guard is Ken McNair. The center, Tyler Frigerio. The right guard is John Smith, and the right tackle is Jamie Martinez.
Yeah, and athletic attempt at making that catch there. One hand got onto the ball, but unable to bring it home was the PD receiver on the pass from quarterback Anthony O'Connell. O'Connell, a real pocket passer. Calm in the pocket, Tom, makes good reads. Not the most mobile of quarterbacks, but we will see one of those before this game ends for the police department of New York in Davian.
3rd and 10. O'Connell escapes, looks to take off with it, wrapped up by Denzel Wilson. He got to about the 24-yard line, picking up about 5 or 6. He needed a few more to get there, so O'Connell took off. We'll get to the FDNY defensive starters on the next series.
Denzel Wilson, big number 95, covering a lot of ground on that play for the fire department of New York.
So NYPD goes 3 and out. Mike Sheridan on to punt, number 11 out of Stony Brook. Very short punt, bounces out of bounds, and this did not log much. The line of scrimmage was at the 27-yard line, and let's see where the ball is ruled out. It was a 13-yard punt by Mike Sheridan, and that is where the Bravest will take over with quarterback John Conklin. Let's meet their offensive starters for New York's Bravest. That quarterback, it's John Conklin out of engine 297, number 12. The running back is the rookie Tremaine Wilson. The receivers are Evan Flowers, one of our offensive players to watch for FDNY. Rob Wheeler, the rookie, number 13. In the slot, it's Eric Ortega and Tommy Heedles. The offensive line is bookended by left tackle Tim Caffrey, a captain, and the rookie Khalid Lewis, with a pair of veterans, Jarrett Howe and John Seda at the guard spots. Daniel Oliver makes the transition from nose guard last year to center now. Conklin has twin receivers to each side. Wilson lined up to his left at his own 40-yard line. Conklin looking, throws, incomplete, hit hard by Rob Welsh, John, our NYPD defensive player to watch, who had 3 sacks against Chicago.
And Rob Welsh making his presence felt immediately. A big guy on the end for the police department, and he sends a message there.
It'll be 2nd down and 10, John. Conklin trips to his right. Flowers singled out to the near side left. Conklin looking his way, hoists one up in the air, overthrown. Flowers incomplete, so he is 0 for 1. And folks, let's take a look at the NYPD Finest defensive starters. The defensive ends are number 99, Rob Welsh, at number 90, first-year rookie Kevin Ferguson. The defensive tackles are Brandon Ravello and Daniel Effinger. The linebackers are led by Louis Basabe, the captain, number 44 in his 16th season. Ulrich Blaze, a linebacker as well. The strong safety is Marquise Artis. The secondary free safety, number 32, Mustafa Young. Number 17, Mark Ricketts. The corners are number 21, Brandon Quinn, and number 38, James Ingram.
Tom, the O-line getting pushed around early in this first series for the fire department, getting to the quarterback Conklin twice in a row. This time Conklin gets it in there for his first reception, pass completion of the game.
Conklin threw to Ortega, who made the catch. Marquise Artis tackled him out of bounds, but Ortega is going to be short of the first down.
Gain of 9 yards on the play.
Be a yard shy.
Ortega, another veteran on this team, Tom, who big part of the receiving core for the fire department of New York. And that combination we've seen many times before, Conklin and Ortega, and it's good to see them sync up early here in this first series. If the fire department wants to have a shot at putting any points on the board, that combination you'll likely see more of today.
And the tale of two tapes, John Conklin out of Engine 294 won the Fun City Bowl MVP last season. This year, it's been a bit of a mixed bag, as Conklin has trips to his left here. Two receivers split out right, empty backfield. Conklin rolls right, looking. Penalty flag thrown. Conklin will take off. He has the first down. Hit hard by Mark Ricketts and Manny Tejada. Picked up 6.
Well, so much for me saying Conklin's not comfortable running the ball. He certainly looked very comfortable there, picking up the first yard for the fire department. Move the sticks. Fire department on the prowl. They started this series with a big field advantage, excellent field position, and they're capitalizing it. No bigger play than John Conklin made right there so far early on in this one here at Mitchell Field in Uniondale.
John, can you tell the folks a little bit about Conklin and what he brings to the table? He's had a few turnovers over the last few games, but he continues to impress Coach Cam Peake in other ways.
You know, I really like his patience. We talked about it. I liked his pocket presence. He's kind of an unflappable guy, Tom. Quiet guy. You know, told me about the first fire he got heavily involved in just a couple of months ago in Manhattan, involving some lithium batteries and a big explosion. And he was talking about it like it was a walk in the park. So I like his calmness, too. Beautiful punt.
This will be a running into the kicker. Number 87 for NYPD ran into Francis Cole. That was Brian Dice. That should be a 15-yarder and give FDNY a first down, but Cole is complaining, so I'm not sure if that will be the case. Steve Orr halfway out onto the field, John.
He's like, hey, man, we got the best kicker in the NPSFL. Leave him alone. It could come down to Francis, you know, performing at a key moment today. So Stevie Orr all fired up on the roughing the punter, or the late hit on that one. 15 yards, Tom, and undisciplined by the police department.
A lot of penalties in last year's game. NYPD had 10. FDNY had 10. And let's take a look at the FDNY defensive starters. Mike Song, number 90, the defensive end. Captain Nose Guard, number 95, Denzel Wilson. Our defensive player to watch for FDNY, number 91, defensive end John Cunningham, who had 4 sacks in a game earlier this season against the Tri-State Shields. The linebackers are Captain Richie Richards, Frank Zerbo, and Mike Hart. Rover safety is rookie Khalifa Forbes. Stud safety is Mikey Martin. And the corners are Anthony Phipps, Tim Dollison, with John Moody playing free safety. McGrain takes a jet sweep, and he's going nowhere. Richie Richards led the pack, John. 8th-year captain, nice tackle.
Richie Richard alongside John Hamilton. Getting busy early for the FDNY defense. Richie Richards, of course, one of the captains, 5'11", 233, played football at Stony Brook. And John Hamilton, 5'8", 180 pounds out of the East. What is that, Tom? East 271?
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
John, what sticks out to you about John Cunningham defensively?
Ooh, man, well, he came over from Tri-State at the 11th hour, was able to play last year, and just his size overall, 6'2", 250 pounds, moves well at the end for the fire department, and his ability to get to the quarterback. Really going to be a big part of the game today if the fire department wants success. It's going to begin and end, or it's certainly going to begin at the defensive end position with Cunningham and, of course, Wilson as well.
Nico Ramirez just made his first catch of the game. Ramirez, John, we spoke to him pregame, playing his final game today as a member of the NYPD.
I absolutely love that guy. You know, he got all choked up pregame today talking to us. Emotions were flowing, and he has left every ounce of energy, commitment, physicality to this police department team. And it was really emotional talking to him before the game, Tom. And you could tell how much this one means to him and how much it would mean to go out on top. He's got kids at home, a 5-year-old, and he said, I don't let my 5-year-old play with fire trucks before this game.
Yeah.
I literally thought that was hysterical. He meant it too, Tom.
Sheridan just got decked in the face. There will be a penalty flag going against FDNY, another undisciplined special teams play. Mikey Martin just ripped into Mike Sheridan.
Well, I guess it's like a little, you're going to do that to our kicker? We'll show you what we can do as well. Although, as you mentioned, undisciplined. Mikey Martin saying, don't push our guys around.
Folks, let's take a look at our players to watch for today's game. John, first off for the Fire Department of New York City on offense, Evan Flowers, 6-foot receiver out of CW Post, had a touchdown against the Shields and 5 catches against Corrections.
Evan Flowers, plain and simply, the best player on the field for the Fire Department of New York.
Yeah.
He's capable of busting it out at any given moment, a playmaker. He'll return kicks, he'll return punts. He's good at the wide receiver position. And butts heads a little bit with the coaching staff because he cares, he's emotional, he pushes back, and just a heck of a player and a lot of fun to watch. Evan Flowers.
Roll on the handoff, stumped down by Mike Hart, and then our other FDNY player to watch is John Cunningham, who just had a pass breakup, John. He's had a very impressive season as well.
Leading the team in sacks. We talking a little bit about him before. Hard to keep your eyes off of this guy. And also deceivingly fast player as well.
Yeah.
As is Ferguson, the young other end for the Fire Department. Certainly another player in my book to keep an eye on today as well. Defensively for the Fire Department.
And NYPD's player to watch. Offensively, it is Chris McGrain, who just made this catch from O'Connell. He's going down the sideline. He is close to the first down marker. And John, Chris McGrain was college teammates with Evan Flowers. We spoke to McGrain pregame about being college teammates with Flowers, and he said, yes, we were very tight in college.
It's funny, though, you think two of the marquee players in this league, McGrain says to us, so is he playing receiver or D-back? It's like that seemed like ancient history to Chris McGrain, but it is kind of a cool connection, and they are two of the marquee players in this league. Evan Flowers for the Fire Department, Chris McGrain, one of our players to watch for the Finest.
O'Connell looking, throws. It is complete to McGrain for an NYPD first down.
So McGrain on the left, McGrain on the right. And you know what I really liked most about that was the way O'Connell stepped up in the pocket, Tom. He looked confident. He threw that ball in there with zing and found McGrain, one of his favorite targets, for 2 receptions in a row by McGrain.
Let's take a look at this replay here. 25-yard pass from O'Connell to McGrain.
And Wilson.
Separation.
Almost got a hand on that one.
Empty set here. 5 receivers for the NYPD. O'Connell under a little pressure, throws off his back foot. It is caught by Mike Miller along the sideline for another Finest first down. So O'Connell, all of a sudden now 3 for 5 in the passing department. He's completed passes to 3 different receivers, and we also talked to Rob Welsh pregame defensively for NYPD. Our defensive player to watch, played at Syracuse, had 3 sacks against the Chicago Police Department.
Travis Pope in on that with pressure from the FDNY, the 6'3", 275-pound defensive player for the Fire Department.
The screen pass to Johnson gains some yardage, tackled by Richie Richards. There was a flag thrown on the play.
Lots of penalties in this game last year, Tom. It really sort of broke up the momentum, or any kind of momentum that was gained. It seemed like there was more and more laundry on the field from the officials.
Yeah.
We hope not to see as much of that today, but look at this, Tom. FD Backing up, backing up, backing up, probably backing up here too. And the police department has put together a heck of a drive here and slowly chipping away. They are now down at the 30-yard line
So
of the fire department.
the penalty fouls will offset.
Oh, okay.
So they'll redo the down. So we'll wait to see what the sticks officially word. But, John, incredible start to this game. No score yet. We've seen some good passing from Anthony O'Connell, who's been very confident. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Woodley gets the handoff. He's wrapped up nicely by Richards.
Well, we did not get into too much detail about Davian Quinlan, the backup for O'Connell, who was a running back in college, converted to a quarterback. And Tom, he is a big, strong guy, and he has had plenty of playing time this year platooning with Anthony O'Connell. I look forward to Davey getting into the game as well. But the way O'Connell's going right here, it may be a while before number 8 gets into the game for the police department.
Already over midway through the first quarter with 6:35 to go. We have an NYPD timeout here on the field. And folks, we are going to cut to a quick break here on the First Responders Network. We'll be right back.
Jonathan Seda, 61 truck, Co-op City in the Bronx. 7 years on the team, 7 years on the job. You have two teams that have the utmost respect for each other while having the utmost hatred at the same time. We want to do whatever we can to win. They're going to do whatever they can to win. And there's just no other way to describe it. For me personally, it's the opportunity to be a part of something that goes back a lot further than just myself. This team and this job is built heavily around legacy and tradition. And to be able to put on pads and line up in the same places that men before you have been able to do for the last 50 years, it truly brings humility to an individual and just allows you to be a part of something that's much greater than yourself. And I'm just kind of lucky to be a part of it, to be honest.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Folks, no score here midway through the first quarter between the NYPD and the FDNY. Tom Scavetta joined alongside John Heffernan. John, the 50th anniversary of the Fun City Bowl football game. So far, O'Connell has looked good, but obviously these two teams play for a greater cause, and the NPSFL's charity, the Ronald McDonald Houses around the country, have roughly over 350 of them. As Woodley takes a handoff there on 3rd and short. He got whipped.
It is
Denzel.
Woodley on the carry.
not
Gain of 1 on the play.
for everybody to be in those trenches, and we got a player down or slow to get up. They are going at it in those trenches.
Looks like Cunningham might be down.
And he went down hard too. It kind of fell awkwardly. It's number 90 for the fire department. That's Mike Song, who's banged up on the play. We hope he's okay.
Folks, we're gonna keep it here, and while Song limps off, John, our pregame was cut a little short. Is there anything we wanted to inform the folks about while we have a minute here to kind of settle things down a bit?
Listen, man, just like we got to pivot here in the booth, these guys got to pivot and make adjustments on the field. And I think whoever can minimize penalties, turnovers, and special teams, all a big part of this one. Got to give the edge in special teams to the fire department with the best kicker in the league, in my opinion. And I think the way this series has gone the last couple of years, it could get down to the fourth quarter again.
4th and 2, pass is incomplete. O'Connell. So that's a tough one there for the NYPD. Game remains scoreless, and FDNY will take over. John, what do they have to do offensively on this drive? I think, personally, they have to get Tremaine Wilson going to open up the passing game.
Yeah, Tremaine Wilson, a probie, a rookie on this team, Tom, has become more and more involved in the offense for the fire department. A quiet guy, but he can book it. Giving a little, find a little seam, and Wilson can take it to the house. I like his running style, quiet kid, but watch for Tremaine Wilson, number 21, to step up and be a big part of this running game for the fire department.
Flowers in motion, left to right. He takes the handoff on the jet sweep, gets by Welsh, has some room. He's still going. He's past the 50. Finally tackled down by Mark Ricketts.
Woo! Look at that, Tommy.
Let's take a look at this replay here of the Flowers run, and let's see how the hole opens up, John.
This guy is an absolute rock star.
He really is.
I mean, the speed that Flowers has, and he carries himself like one, too.
Good combo
We're going
blocks.
to take a look at it here, and just around the end. Tom, he was that close to going all the way, if not for police department tackle. In on that was number 24 for the police department, Manny Tejada, in the game save.
Wilson
Touchdown save.
up the gut, brings 3 Finest defenders with him. He picks up 11. Tackled by Kevin Ferguson.
For viewers who have not had the pleasure of seeing big number 91 play football, you're in for a treat.
First and 10, FDNY.
Big number 95, as you see Denzel Wilson. 6'3", 285. You're going to hear his name over and over and over again. Fans, we're going to throw it down at the field now for a unique perspective from FRN Sports. It's the referee body cam live. Can we take it, boys? Oh, there it is. Like you're right on the field. FRN Sports is proud to showcase a unique perspective on the game through our live Axon body cam. Let's go down to the field once again. There it is. Tom, take over with the play-by-play. We don't want to miss anything.
Referee Carlos Dolmo with the body cam today as a run up the gut for Wilson again. Tackled
Wilson on the carry.
by the front line. Looked like Rob Welsh got in there.
Plays on the
But John, beautiful footage, and you know,
Great job.
I've got to say,
second and 7.
the crowd has trickled in. Yes, they may be late, but look at the crowd now compared
Oh, it
to.
has filled in. Big time.
Whoa,
Bigger
yep.
than last year, Tom.
Yeah. FDNY will be faced with a second down and about 8 here. Conklin with twin receivers to each side. Wilson is the back to his left. He has taken over that starting role. Very quiet guy. We spoke to him pregame. Conklin looking right, throws, caught by Darren Payne, number 19, bumped out of bounds by Brandon Quinn, the corner. So a good catch there for Darren Payne.
And that'll move the sticks, Tom, with 3:30 to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah.
A little bit surprising, no points to the board. You look at this game last year, Tom, I think it was 14-0 by this time for the fire department.
They
So
were up big.
a defensive battle here between these two squads, maybe still feeling each other out. It's just a matter of time before a big play gets busted open, as the fire department is knocking on the door, though, in the red zone.
NYPD's defense forcing Conklin to get the ball to other receivers outside of Flowers, which is one of the keys for FDNY. Get Flowers the ball. Conklin looks, throws, incomplete near the feet of Ortega. Miscommunication. It looked like Rob Wheeler may have ran the incorrect route there.
He's not going to admit to it. I want to give a shout out to Tommy Herrick. 15 years of service on this FDNY team, and you'll see Tommy out there quite a bit today. Receiver, he should be back for another season. And we've had a great season here on FRN as well. Our new broadcast partner with the National Public Safety Football League, and they've just been so supportive, helpful. First Responders Network in their first year as well. We're thrilled to be part of it.
And the handoff taken there up the middle. Looked like Wilson was brought down by a couple of PD tacklers.
Wilson on the carry.
And you know, Tom, a big play like that by Flowers, it kind of has an immediate impact on the bench, on the guys on the sideline, an injection of life that the fire department sorely needed, and they've turned it into one heck of a drive. Now 2nd and 10, as we've got 2:44 remaining in the first quarter.
As we'll get an automatic first down call here by head referee Corey Hansen, wearing the white hat today. That'll move FDNY closer into the red zone, looking to score the first points with 2 minutes and 44 seconds to go in the first quarter. John, pregame, NYPD honored fallen members, Detectives Troy Patterson and Adam Jangle. John, Troy Patterson, a guy who was shot on January 6, 1990 in the head. He survived 33 years with severe brain injuries, but unfortunately passed away last month.
Absolutely, and just so well deserved the pregame in memoriam segments that we had for both the police
Jangle too,
and the firemen. And last year was Moya and a couple of other police officers as well. It's never easy. These guys go to work every day, not knowing if they're going to come home.
a little pitch up, and it is a FDNY touchdown to Tommy Heedles. A little Kansas City special as Conklin pitches it to Tommy Heedles.
Tommy Heedles, the backup quarterback. We saw him in the Wildcat in the last game against the Boldest, and we got a little razzle-dazzle out of the fire department, Camp Peak. Taking some chances early, and it works as Heedles scampers into the end zone to put the fire department on the board, 6-0. Woo!
Let's take a look at the replay here. Heedles into the end zone.
Heedles just bulldozing his way in there.
So a 15-yard penalty against the NYPD. That will be enforced on the kickoff. And here comes the special teams unit. Tim Dollison will snap. Tommy Heedles, who just scored the touchdown, will hold. Francis Cole is on to kick the extra point. The first-year rookie played college ball at CCSU up in Central Connecticut. Cole, number 15, kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime against the Tri-State Shields. Snap is good. Kick is well through the middle. FDNY takes a commanding 7-0 lead with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. And a quick, friendly neighborhood reminder, the first quarter is brought to you by OfficerPrivacy.com. Make sure to protect your personal information by going to OfficerPrivacy.com and deleting unwanted online profiles. John?
Quinlan straight through the upright, 7-0 FD. For all those FD haters out there picking the fire and picking the police department, what do you think about that? So we finally got our first points on the board tonight, Tom, and I'm a little surprised. It was an impressive drive, all started by a heck of a run by Flowers.
Yeah, the Flowers run on the sweep really set it up, and NYPD needs to recover. The kickoff will be from midfield due to the 15-yard penalty. And John, we just saw a graphic of both Patterson and Jangle. I want to talk about NYPD Detective Adam Jangle, who worked at the 103rd Precinct for 21 years. He was diagnosed with colon cancer and sadly passed away on April 16th earlier this year. Retired in 2021 before developing this 9/11 related illness. Nearly 39,000 raised for Adam and his family, according to fundthefirst.com. What a beautiful tribute to Jangle pregame as well. I wanted to throw him in there because he got the graphic up of both.
Absolutely, and you couldn't have said it any better, Tom. And certainly our thoughts go out to Adam's family, and we thank you so much for, at times, a job that not many people can comprehend. And unless you've walked in those shoes and know what it's like to walk into a burning building or walk into another building as police officers do on a daily basis, and sometimes not know if you're going to come out. And Jangle did the ultimate sacrifice as far as working down at the World Trade Center after 9/11 22 years ago. And we want to wish his family well.
O'Connell in a shotgun, trips to his right. Pass caught by Kyle Johnson. Kicked out of bounds immediately by Phipps. Pickup of about 5 yards.
And Phipps, good club coverage, but Johnson is certainly a guy that we earmarked prior to the start of this one. Kyle Johnson, been at Pace University.
Him and Ramirez both at a pace.
And Johnson, a terrific athlete.
We had Steve Orr up in the booth last year when Tyler Ryan threw a 93-yard bomb to Kyle Johnson for a touchdown.
That's right.
O'Connell rolls left. He elects to take off with it, slides wisely after picking up about a yard.
He was still probably 3 yards short of the first.
Will be 3rd and 4 upcoming. We're in the final minute of the first quarter here. Substitutions in the game. Mike Miller, number 14, coming in along with number 88, Kieran Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald caught a touchdown in last year's game against the PD. Again, FDNY won that 29-27 on a 2-point conversion where your boy John Tommy Heedles threw that 2-point conversion, botched extra point snap to John Cunningham in the end zone.
Rolling to his right on the botch play. Cunningham lining up at tight end on that play. Ooh, right to
O'Connell's pass is
off.
caught by Miller for an NYPD first down.
Really picked off it somehow. I don't know how O'Connell got that in there, but it couldn't have been put in a more perfect spot.
Yeah. Picked up 10 yards on the pass. Mike Miller, his second catch of the game. And that might be the final play of the first quarter as NYPD in no rush. As they walk towards the football, but that is going to do it. And folks, at the end of the first quarter, the FDNY leads the NYPD 7-0. We're going to step aside for a quick break. We'll be right back with the second quarter here on the First Responders Network.
John Paul Donato, wide receiver. I've been on the team for 11 years, on the job for 18, and I'm a police officer. I love football. I actually came out late to the team. I was on the job for about 8 years already, and I just said it's now or never. Some of the lessons you learn off the field, you bring it on the field, and some of the lessons on the field, you bring them off the field. Dedication, intensity, just all-out professionalism and respect. Just like to say thank you to my family and friends who have supported me throughout my time on the team and on the job as well. I really appreciate all your love and support.
My name is John Moody. I play free safety. I've been on the team for 6 years, and I've been in the fire department for 8 years. Football, man, it's not a one-man sport. I mean, it's 11 of us on the field at a time. You got to trust the man next to you. You got to trust them. They're doing their job to make your job easier, and then make, we all come out of the game safe and sound and strong. And we take that into the firehouse. The person next to you is going to give it their all. They're going to know their responsibilities. They're going to know their job, and you got to know yours. Just want to shout out my firehouse, Engine 158 in Staten Island, all my Staten Islanders. Go Fire.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Folks, welcome back to second quarter action here in Uniondale, New York, Mitchell Field Complex. I'm Tom Scavetta, joined alongside John Heffernan. You just caught a word with J.P. Donato of the NYPD and John Moody of the FDNY as O'Connell's first pass at the feet of Ramirez incomplete. John, 7-0 in the first quarter for the FDNY. What do the Finest have to do on this drive to even it up?
I like that coverage by Zerbo, Frank Zerbo, all over the field today. And Tom, to answer your question, what does the NYPD have to do? Well, they got to get on the board here and answer the bell. I think it's important to clap back here to show the fire department that we are capable of doing this as well. I'm very impressed by the offensive line so far for the fire department, as we see the defensive line of the fire department now on the field. But there's been a lot of talk about how dominant the defensive line is for the police department this year, and it hasn't seemed to have affected the Bravest at all here tonight at Mitchell Field.
Excellent analysis, John, as Danny Roll just caught a pass, loss of 2. Frank Zerbo, you just mentioned him, brought in a QB hit. Coach Cam Peake described him as a character type of player. He's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, a bit of a jokester, a lot of energy, and every team needs a Zerbo. And he's got a little crazy in him, too, I won't lie. And at that position, as Lawrence Taylor once said, sometimes you got to act like a pack of crazed dogs. Zerbo is leading the pack there.
O'Connell looks, throws to Ramirez behind the line of scrimmage, has some speed in open space, tripped up from behind. It looked like that was Jonathan Carberry on the tackle.
Hey, it's my guy, JC, Jonathan Carberry, originally from the Lower East Side of New York City. Shout out to Jonathan's wife and 3 kids that live in upstate now. Terrific family. Shout out to Jonathan's mom, who still lives down the Lower East Side. Jonathan making a big play against the Boldest, Tom, creating a safety. 2 points for the fire department, and a great defensive play at special teams for Jonathan.
An ugly weather game out against the Boldest. This punt much better for Sheridan. It is fielded by Flowers. He's got some room to run. There's a penalty flag. This will be brought back.
It looks like it's going to be a hold.
Coming back.
But Tom, you know, 2 of the biggest runs have come from Evan Flowers, despite that one being balled back. Yeah, let's take the replay.
All right, let's take a look at the penalty flag from this previous play. Figure out.
That Hansen.
Referee Corey Hansen, yep.
Corey Hansen with a little extra bop on that call. Oh, boy, that was bad. But it's going to back up the fire department, and going to waste was that beautiful return by Flowers.
Absolutely. Folks, this second quarter is brought to you by Strike Light 2, developed by Public Safety's most trusted partner. The Strike Light 2 provides industry-best effectiveness, portability, and protection to any activity. For a limited time, go to taser.com and use promo code NPSFL to save $25.
Taser.com. That's in case, you know, the Axon folks need a voiceover. Just showing them my chops, Tommy. Axon Communications, parent company of First Responders Network. Shout out Axon.
See Conklin donning the sleeves tonight. Halfback off tackle off the draw to Tremaine Wilson. He gets tackled at the line of scrimmage. It looked like Artis came in there and tripped him up.
Tom, is it me, or is it just this, the emotions? I am very impressed with how in check these 2 teams have kept their emotions. I feel like it's like a business trip. They know how important this game is. We had a couple of penalty flags, a couple of late hits on the kickers, on the punters, back to back, but overall pretty well disciplined behavior on both sides of the ball tonight here at Mitchell Field.
Not too many flags have been thrown yet. There was a grand total of 23 last year, John, as Avilas in motion to right. Throws a block for Babby, who makes the catch. He's brought down from behind by, looks like Daniel Effinger, number 58, on the stop.
Daniel Effinger, absolute pop on that play. Effinger, 6 feet, 250 pounds.
Went to Army.
And he did go to Army.
PD's defense not phased, John. And it looks like Jarrett Howe and John Seda have switched positions on the offensive line. Seda now playing left guard, Howe at right guard for the Bravest.
That's a big move right there. John Seda usually locking it down on the left side.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's all about.
Rob Welsh going up against the right tackle, Khalid Lewis, making his second career start. So that's a matchup we're definitely keeping an eye on as well. As we mentioned pregame, Welsh, one of our players to watch. Artis breaks up the pass attempt intended for Heedles on 3rd and long. We'll bring up 4th down and 9 with 11:51 to go in the second quarter.
And Artis all over the PD receiver like a wetsuit. Excellent athletic ability, denying with the left hand, kept pace. Stride for stride. Conklin tried to get it in there, but to no avail. And the fire department's going to have to put the football away.
John Conklin, I didn't mean it like that. John Conklin is 2 for 6, 25 passing yards so far. Sky high punt from Francis Cole. Johnson on the return, and he is brought down after picking up 4.
And again, the fire department's going to have good field position. Right at around the 50-yard line.
11:38.
As this game clock continues to tick it away. Tom, you know, it's just a matter of time, I think, before we are going to see the mobile Davian Quinlan inserted into this ball game for the police department. I mean, you got to start trying to think about ways to mix it up. Plenty of football left to play, or do you think I'm pressing the panic button a little too soon?
I don't think so. I think Shanahan mentioned, you know, Quinlan will be used in different situations. Both kids have a great relationship with Clive Harding, and I think Davian's presence doesn't bother O'Connell that much, and they are very familiar with each other. Talking to them pregame, they were both a great pleasure to speak with.
For sure. I was really blown away by the size of Quinlan, too.
Yeah.
He's an absolute house.
O'Connell pump fakes, looking deep, throws in the direction of McGreen, well overthrown, incomplete.
Yeah, O'Connell just wanted to get that one out of bounds and reset here and give it another crack.
John, we also had the opportunity to speak with the FDNY coaching staff this week as firefighter Billy Moon was honored pregame. William Moon III died back in December due to a head injury he suffered during a fall during training of about 20 feet at his Brooklyn firehouse. Moon was 47 years old from Islip, New York, a 21-year FDNY veteran. Moon was practicing a skyscraper rescue. Moon's organs were donated, helping save lives survived by his wife, Christina, and 2 children.
How much dedication, especially the training that these guys have to do to stay fresh and focused. And Moon, unfortunately, losing his life during one of those very training exercises. We wish Moon's family well.
We'll take a look at this replay here. O'Connell's dump pass to Woodley. That goes for an NYPD first down. John, let's take a look and break it down for the folks.
So
flashes out.
O'Connell back to pass, finds the open receiver. Hart in pursuit. Is able to wrap him up, and that's another key player for the fire department. Number 34 always seems to have a nose for the football. I'm talking about linebacker number 34 for the fire department, Michael Hart. Love that guy. Love watching him play.
O'Connell takes off. McGreen with the huge block.
Oh my goodness!
Chris McGreen, a huge college wideout, played at CW Post, and I believe he got a piece. It might have been Mikey Martin.
I mean, can we take a look at that block one more time?
Let's take a look. Chris McGreen,
Tom, has got to be 5'11" at most.
6 foot listed on the site, but yeah, about 5'11".
Graciously, watch this block right here. Coming up, O'Connell starts to scramble.
Oh,
and there it is.
It's on Richards.
And it's on Richie Richards, who popped right up to his credit. McGreen was really quiet before the game tonight. I was saying to myself,
yeah,
he looked to be in a whole other world talking about Chris McGreen. And, you know, when they say they hate each other, They mean it.
Yeah, O'Connell's pass fell short of McGrain there, a miscommunication between the two. McGrain scored 2 touchdowns against the Chicago PD, a 72-yarder and a 55-yarder. When we asked him about what happened on that first touchdown against Chicago down in Nashville, he caught the ball when being sandwiched in between 2 defenders, and he just found a way to get his hands on the ball. Didn't think he was going to get up from it. Next thing you know, he took off. O'Connell, shotgun, taking off again. Look at him move.
Ooh!
Hit hard by Richards that time.
Richards getting a little payback.
Under 10 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And now we're starting to see some of that physicality pick up. This place is starting to buzz a little bit. 2 big hits. One by McGrain on Richards, and Richards comes back here for the fire department to lay out a licking of his own. And we are still at 7-0. It's going to be 4th and 1.
Big play.
And police department's going to go for it. A huge play.
27-yard line of the fire department. Twin receivers set. Low snap from Frigerio. O'Connell dumps it off to Woodley, who makes the catch, gets the first down. Bumped out by John Moody. Pickup of 5.
That's a good call by the offensive coordinator for the police department. We're going to give him a little more love in just a minute. Of course, I'm referring to Clyde Harding, called the offensive genius by lots in this coaching community. Head coach at the Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn, New York for football. And won football coach, high school football coach of the year, as awarded by the National Football League this season. Got to attend the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl.
O'Connell goes under center in a single back snap. He hands it off to Woodley on the misdirection. Moody wraps him up along with Zerbo and others. Gain of nothing.
Yeah, big gang tackle there by the fire department. And this is just old school, old time football, man. These guys are getting after it. Not a lot of points through a quarter and a half. Reach the 8-minute mark.
Connell so far, John, 9 of 16 for 79 yards. They've been throwing the ball a lot, as we predicted pregame. NYPD taking a more modern approach this season.
Well, you know, I've said it before. If the fire department can get you to the 4th quarter, watch out. I think that's often their MO. Keep it close and then see what happens.
McGrain makes the catch from O'Connell. He jumps his way into the end zone for an NYPD touchdown. 20-yard strike. O'Connell to McGrain, and there is a brawl breaking out in the end zone. Wow.
Yeah, I told you the hitting started to come up. Flags all over the place. McGrain was a man possessed getting into the end zone for the police department.
Let's
and he needs to stay out of that scrum, as he's been one of the best players on the field today for the police department. Let's take a look at the McGrain touchdown. And that's good to see that scrap was quickly broken up. Didn't seem like anything too crazy. We don't want to go back to 2016, that's for sure.
Again, he's lined up in the slot. Gets by the second level easily.
Plenty of time, too, to throw the football.
Great route.
McGrain wide open. Beautiful route. And he just absolutely freight trained on his way in. Number 24 for the fire department, Michael Martin. Martin just got absolutely bulldozed. McGrain, Tom, is a man possessed out there. One of the best players we've seen so far. Wow. Especially here in the second quarter.
McGrain, 4 touchdowns now in his last 3 games. He's left his fingerprints on this game each of the last 2 years. 4 touchdowns now in 3 Fun City Bowl games. Played with Evan Flowers in college. Great hands, excellent route running on full display.
And now the referees are talking over what the penalties are going to be. They got their notebooks out, Tom. It looks like it's going to be a long list of penalties. My goodness, I hope there's no ejections. Let's wait and see what head referee the head referee has to say here. But, Tom, you know, I will say this. You heard head coach Kevin Shanahan say it's the angriest he's ever seen his team play on the road in Illinois against the Chicago Police Department. He said it's the most physical game I've ever been a part of. I said, Coach, do you think there's going to be any carryover to this one? He goes, John, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
That was I think we'll be fine.
That's right.
They've been more than fine here, getting back into this one, just an extra point away from tying it up. And, folks, we got a ball game here at Mitchell Field out in Uniondale, New York.
McGree now with 45 receiving yards and 1 touchdown.
And one heck of a highlight block that we will never see the likes of again, or it'll be a long time before we see one like that again.
Yeah. And Coach Shanahan mentioned about discipline. You have to be smart. You can't give FDNY an extra series or set of downs. They're notorious for capitalizing.
So Stevie Orr, Tom, and Coach Campeak out talking things over with the referee, and we're getting some feedback that there could be ejections, and certainly the referee is giving plenty of time to Steve Orr, who's absolutely irate on the field, and I can't blame him. But Tom, the ejection calls have come in.
Yep.
Number 91.
It's John Cunningham for FDNY.
Oh,
has
Cunningham
been ejected and
is
then
out. And number 3 for the New York City Police Department.
JP Donato also ejected.
JP Donato.
Number 3, NYPD. He is ejected. Unfortunately,
So Donato out for NYPD, Cunningham out for FDNY.
What kind of trade-off do you see that, Tom? Who does it favor?
Well, NYPD is stacked at wide receivers, so I would not be too concerned, but you do lose a veteran presence in Donato. You expect a guy like Kieran Fitzgerald or Mike Miller to have to step up into his role. For FDNY, you lose a huge piece of your defensive line, and that takes a lot away from a guy like Denzel Wilson, John.
It does. JP Donato, 11th year on this team, 18 years on the job for the police department. You'd hate to see it end like that for him tonight, getting the early shower, along with Cunningham, who, Tom, ironically was one of our players to watch. Come on, Cunningham. Second quarter, and our player to watch is gone, and a big sack threat for the police department is the sack specialist, Cunningham, who's now also sent to an early shower.
Nick Courtney is on to kick the extra point. The long snapper is Rich Posh, number 33. Holder would typically be JP Donato.
Correct.
But
guys, if we could maybe get one more replay of that scrap to see if those ejections were justified. I know it's water under the bridge.
Kieran Fitzgerald will hold. Nick Courtney will kick the PAT.
Well, as my
Phipps jumped offside.
My brilliant FRN guy, Tony, just told me, listen, man, touchdown was scored. We don't need to see the fight. All we know is that PD is back in it. And we might see another extra point attempt here, Tom. What was the call?
Offside on Phipps prior to the snap, so they'll have to re-kick. Fitzgerald is the new holder, by the way. So, John, I just mentioned Fitzgerald might have to fill in the shoes of JP Donato. There you go. Special teams is key.
Looking to tie this thing up here. It's been a defensive battle most of this game. It's up and it's good.
And the PAT is true blue. The second official almost went for a no good sign, but it is good. 7-7 the score. John, this has been a very, very entertaining first half. Unfortunately, though, we just saw 2 ejections to 2 key players.
You know, you hate to see that. I talked about the calm before the storm with the storm clouds rolling in. I said, it seems too quiet. And just like that in the second quarter, bam, we've got the first ejections I've ever seen in the NPSFL. I wonder if we could get some statistics on that. You hate to see it in a game of this magnitude, but I guess there is a zero-tolerance policy, Tom, not to keep harping on it. What's done is done. Stevie Orr did not seem to like the explanation. Zero-tolerance policy on fighting. Cunningham for FD, Donato for PD, gone.
Folks, if you're not already watching on the FRN app, go download it now for a premium streaming experience and to check out the extensive collection of first responder content.
But Tom, the more this game is being shaped, as we now are down to about 7:34 to go here till halftime. Defensive-minded football is what these two teams are known for. Defensive-minded football we are getting tonight.
That was Rob Wheeler on the kick return, gets across the 20, but not much more. Good special teams tackle made by number 31, Adam Landsberg, the 10-year veteran of the football team.
Landsberg looked like he might have sports collar in there. Needless to say, we will start another series, as every series with 7:27 to go here. First half will be important. It'd be nice to head into halftime with a little momentum, Tom. But,
absolutely.
Gonna have to take it one snap at a time. But look at this operating under center for the first time. Oh no, out of the shotgun. I'm talking about.
7:27 to go in the second quarter. Tied game at 7. Conklin takes the snap. They fake the handoff, keeping it. Brought down for a sack by Daniel Effinger. Nicely done by the NYPD.
A beautiful read by big number 58 for the NYPD. Effinger with a solid pursuit.
Let's take a look, John.
And he backs up the PD, the FD, another 5 yards. As Conk had nowhere to go. Maybe we'll take a look at it again. Get it up. There we go.
Again, just great pressure applied. Not the best play call, I would say there. Conklin keeping it. And Effinger just did a good job bulldozing through. Showing off some good speed there, John. Very impressed.
Yeah, he's looked real good in this game. One of many strong plays today by Effinger. And I've just seen a real momentum shift officially throughout this series.
Conklin just overthrew Tremaine Wilson, incomplete.
And
third
Welsh in there way too fast, along with number 15 for the New York City Police Department, Marquise Artis. Welsh and Artis, man, impressive. This whole D-line for the NYPD.
John, we spoke to Rob Welsh pregame. Syracuse alum, 6'4", 225. He lost a lot of weight. He backed up Chandler Jones of the NFL at Syracuse. He went up against current NFL star Justin Pugh in practice for the Orange and former teammates with NFL punter Riley Dixon. He's seen a lot of NFL talent.
A humble man as well. Got an invite by the Jets after college.
Conklin throws, intercepted by the NYPD. Ulrich Blaze, number 45, picks it off for the Finest. Conklin's turnover streak continues. Nicely done. That is the first official turnover of the game. Another scrum on the sideline there.
Ulrich Blaze had a bead on this one. Look at the anticipation by Blaze.
Let's take a look at this replay.
And he just saw that from the jump, locked in on the quarterback. Conklin, in great positioning by Ulrich Blaze. If we can maybe back that up a little bit more the next time, it'd be helpful.
NYPD will take over. And now, John, this is where it gets interesting because offensively, you don't have Donato. FDNY defensively, you don't have John Cunningham. So number 3, Travis Pope, will be inserted into the game. He's in there now. Pope, an experienced player. Didn't play much with the team last year, but he's back, and NYPD will go in a traditional I formation here with Joe Baccia, number 34, the fullback in the game. And roll is swallowed up. Denzel Wilson.
And crashing into his own player on that play. roll running into the back of number 67 for the New York City Police Department. A little bit of bad luck there, but as you mentioned, a good, strong push by Denzel Wilson in the defensive line for the fire department.
Really nice play there by FDNY. A lot more pressure on Wilson now. NYPD will operate 2nd and 11. Roll is the running back to O'Connell's left. 4 receivers set, McGrain and Ramirez in the slot to each side. Fitzgerald lined up near side left. Johnson split out wide right. O'Connell has some green, throws back of the end zone.
He's out of bounds.
Incomplete.
And great job by Conklin by avoiding the pressure, stepping up. I mean, he had his guy there, just a little bit overthrown. Tom, there has been a bit of a momentum shift here, though, in the second quarter in the favor of the Finest.
Absolutely is. Their offensive line has done a fine job. Coach Shanahan mentioned this is the best offensive line they've had in a while. Samuel Aristide, left tackle out of Southern Connecticut State, 6'6", anchors that left side right tackle. Jamie Martinez, first-year guy, another Division I athlete out of Sacred Heart University. We have a timeout, NYPD. That's their second of the half.
You know, you mentioned, you bring up a good point, Aristide and Martinez. Number 51, number 75, an offensive, both offensive linemen who've really made big strides in their early careers.
And folks, we'll be right back in just a moment. We're going to step aside for a short break here on the First Responders Network.
My name is Adam Landsberg. I'm a defensive back. I'm a detective for the Gun Violence Suppression Division. Been on the job for 13 years, and I've been on this team for 10. Representing the NYPD on the field as well as in the community, I feel like it means a little more being on this team. You're doing something that majority of the department doesn't get to do. It's nice to do the clinics and see the kids excited, know you're a cop as well as your football player. They kind of hold you in a higher light. They see cops every day, but they don't see cops that are football players. And then to be able to teach them skills, practice, play with them, it's a good feeling. I appreciate the alumni coming out to the game, my family for supporting me, my coworkers for supporting me, and end of the day, we're gonna get this win.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Welcome back, folks, to Mitchell Field Complex here in Uniondale, New York. NYPD faced with 3rd and long. O'Connell takes the snap, throws incomplete, intended for Fitzgerald, who couldn't hold on.
Yeah, that's a pass Fitzgerald has to catch. Beautifully thrown ball by Conklin. Fitzgerald gets both hands on the football and isn't able to secure it.
Decision time coming, and Shanahan will leave his offense on the field. He wants to win this Fun City Bowl. You're inside the 30-yard line. Nick Courtney missed 2 field goals in last year's Fun City Bowl, so they elect to keep the offense out there here. O'Connell has trips to his left. Johnson, McGrain, Ramirez in that order. Fitzgerald split out wide right. The back is Danny Roll.
Good play.
O'Connell has some time. No, not for long. Denzel Wilson records the sack, his first of the game.
The big man. And down and shaken up on the play, Tom, is O'Connell. This could be absolutely huge. But the one thing going for the fire department, if O'Connell has trouble getting up here, is they've got a very competent backup in Davian Quinlan. But let's hope that O'Connell is okay.
Let's take a look here at this replay to see what happened to O'Connell on this play.
Man, oh man, Denzel Wilson is an absolute load. And the pocket just collapses. There's Wilson, just kind of spins around O'Connell like a top, and it might have hit his head first, Tom. I think that's what it might be.
Yeah, and O'Connell's going to come out. Davian Quinlan will replace him for now.
Tom, he
on the next series, most likely.
He seems woozy, and I do think it could be a head injury. Kind of seems a little out on his feet. What a nice kid he is, too, Tom. We had a good talk with him.
prior to the game today, patiently waited for us, and I just really hope he's okay. If he's got any family watching, I got him in my sights on the bench right now. He looks fine and alert and talking to the training staff. So don't worry, your boy's gonna be okay.
Shout out to his father, retired NYPD. O'Connell currently works at the 5th Precinct. Conklin back out there, and NYPD jumped off sides. That was Rob Welsh, number 99, but multiple guys moved.
And Tom, you gotta wonder, what is your thought on going for it there on 4th and 10? I mean, I know it's water under the bridge now, but an interesting choice by head coach Kevin Shanahan.
I agree with it because of where they were inside the 30, maybe not trusting Courtney's leg from that specific spot. And 5-yard penalty on the NYPD will make it 1st and 5 for the Fire Department of New York City. And John, it's kind of just reset the Fun City Bowl to show people the importance, for those watching, how important and imperative this game is to the NPSFL. Games have been played at the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Link, Giants Stadium, MetLife Stadium, you name it. There was a game played at Monsignor Farrell High School back in 2003. This has been a very historic rivalry, as up the gut goes the running back. Looks like Wilson, who met the outstretched arms of Dan Farrell. Actually might have been Sumter. Let's wait to see when the back gets up. No, it's Kadeem Jonas.
We haven't called Kadeem's name a whole lot today.
No. Kept away from the team a lot this season due to his military commitment.
Yeah,
a lot of guys
Air
have
Force.
That.
Yeah. Jonas given plenty of latitude. Listed in the Air Force and can't make a whole lot of practices either, Tom.
Yeah.
But is able to get here for most of the games. I want to thank Kadeem Jonas for his service with the United States Air Force.
Conklin.
In addition to the fire department.
Absolutely. We thank Kadeem and the rest of these first responders for their service. Conklin, twin receivers, takes the snap, surveys, looks left, throws, intercepted by the NYPD. Looked like Mike Malone came away with it, number 55.
It is Malone. And Tom, I just don't understand. Conklin had so much time to throw the football, and Malone kind of comes in out of nowhere. We're going to take another look at this one.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay of Conklin's second pick of the game.
They started to come apart at the seams for the fire department. Conklin in the shotgun. He's got twins to his left. Takes the handoff. Plenty of time. Just didn't even have to cover a whole lot of ground.
No.
But, sometimes guys like Malone, they will suck the quarterback in and make it look like, hey, I'm not, I'm falling back, I'm dropping back. They kind of lull them into a false sense of security. Looks like Malone, with his body positioning, did a little bit of that there. Conklin thinking if he put a little extra zip on it, he'd get it in. He did not, and another turnover.
Unsportsmanlike on the Finest, their 4th penalty of the game. So this will back them up to their own 40. That's a real shame. They had great field position off the pick, but if there's any positive to take out of that for FDNY, it's NYPD gets backed up 15. And there's another look at our referee cam, Axon body cam footage.
Being worn by Carlos Dolmo.
Fumble. PD fumbled. I think Woodley was the one that lost it.
Looks like they're saying it's.
Let's take a look. We'll see who.
By the
Let's see.
Pile down.
No signal yet. The signal is
Michael Hart jumping
NYPD
off
retains.
the pile. One by one, and it is PD. Recovered by big number 64.
Tyler Frigerio, the starting center.
We got a couple of Frigerio family members, or at least with Frigerio jerseys, right in front of us. Seated on the PD sideline.
That's right. O'Connell back in the game, which is great to see, by the way. Following that rough hit on the sack from Denzel Wilson.
Big.
Yeah. With under 3 minutes to go in the first half, clock still rolling. Woodley is the back to his right. McGreen, Ramirez in the slots. Johnson wide right. Fitzgerald near side left. O'Connell looks, throws, dumps off to Woodley. Gets past Wilson, tripped up by Martin, but not before Woodley picks up another PD first down.
Move the sticks again. Tom, a little choppy game. Turnovers, penalties.
Yeah.
Only a touchdown apiece scored with 2:20 to go here before the half. And folks, by the way, we got an inspiring performance at halftime by the NYPD dance team, so stay tuned for that.
As O'Connell takes the snap from midfield, throws behind Ramirez, incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. And John, you brought up a great point. You'll also have a piece with Jeff Price, the president of the NPSFL.
Yeah, had a chance to sit down with the head coach also.
Yeah.
The head coach of the Dallas Defenders, Jeff Price, and newly installed as the president of the National Public Safety Football League, over 30 years on the job in Dallas, Texas as a sergeant. We talked all things NPSFL and Fun City Bowl, the health of the league. 16 total teams in the NPSFL right now. 8 Division I, 8 Division II. Anyway, stay tuned for that interview. A lot of fun. Jeff, a very well put together guy. Couldn't ask for a better guy in that chair. Jeff
O'Connell dumps it off. Woodley again makes one man miss. Another first down. Takes 2 defenders with him. Finally tackled by Denzel Wilson, and Woodley makes his 3rd catch of the game. He's been phenomenal.
Let's take a look at this one again. On the first down reception by the police department.
Hurrying up, just so you know, folks.
It's crazy.
Hurry up, John. That was a Travis Pope got right there in place of Cunningham. They're moving so fast pace before the replay could finish.
Marco Bobby just sort of hanging on to the cleats.
Also, John
O'Connell.
Speaking of the NPSFL, I've got a final score.
Oh, we had Tri-State playing today in East Rockaway.
This one I have from Salem, Virginia. The Roanoke Rampage have defeated the Charlotte Cobras 12-7.
Wow. Congratulations to
Jamison Ratcliffe,
and
Zach Hayden,
Todd Farris.
Brad Harris. Pass to Roll over the middle. Hart wraps him up.
Great.
Gain of about 9.
I got to tell you, those boys down south can hit. There was a couple of monster hits in that game.
Brought down by Davis on the play.
We have a timeout here called.
Down and 1.
Talking about the Roanoke game down in D.C.
Nothing yet from Jeff Pastore from Tri-State.
That game was a 4 o'clock kickoff.
Oh, hold on. Here we go. Score update from Rockaway. The Shields beat the Boldest by a final score of 3-0.
Oh, wow. I am happy for Jeff Pastore, though, in that win. Well deserved.
O'Connell finds McGrane. He's got some room, runs out of bounds. Picked up about 13 yards and got hit a little late.
Fan went down on that, too. Yeah, Jeff Pastore really has been in so many of the games that he's played this year. We've got a big drive here. I don't want to take up too much time as the police department could punch this one in. But, Tom, Jeff Pastore, play here or play there, could have been playing for a national championship himself this year. So congratulations to the head coach of the Tri-State Shield, Jeff Pastore. Job well done, getting a final victory of this season. And his son Nick, an MVP candidate for the league, in my opinion. We got a timeout taken on the field. Nick Pastore and
McGrain, kind of similar players.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Jeff Pastore, if you just give me a second here to give you some of his feedback to my view, one of the better coaches in the NPSFL. Pastore was saying if the PD front defensive line, which is dominant in his view, plays up to snuff, that PD, he would give the edge to. PD has lots of depth, Jeff went on to say, and the FD team has to control the PD defensive line. Jeff also said the fire department most resilient team in the league. They never lose confidence. And I thought that was a great point, Tom. Very resilient, very confident. They play as a unit. And they got to do that on the job as well in New York City. And I thought there were wise words from Jeff Pastore. I want to wish him congratulations on the win today in East Rockaway.
Yep, congratulations to Jeff. And back here, John, national championship game as well tonight. We can't forget about that, despite the Fun City Bowl. NYPD 12 national titles, FDNY 4. Their last came in 2017 against the LAPD Centurions. In fact, 3 of their 4 championship wins have come against the LAPD Centurions. Shout out to James Norton and his squad out in Los Angeles if you're watching. O'Connell screen pass to Ramirez, tripped up, good tackle by Martin as Ramirez is short of the first down.
Great job by Michael Martin.
Third catch for Nico.
Ramirez trying to hurdle over Martin. Martin kind of from his backside able to stop Ramirez.
Under 30 seconds to go in the half. Low snap, O'Connell has some time.
Nobody
looks to
open.
take off. Pope with a sack, and PD and Martinez just slammed down an FD defender. As the Finest will use their final timeout.
Tom, you talked about the insertion of Pope due to a couple of the ejections earlier, and Pope has responded beautifully.
That's the second FDNY sack. NYPD uses their final timeout and would like to take a minute to shout out First Responders Network for partnering with the NPSFL this season, launching back on May 23rd, 2022. And John, none of this would be possible without, everyone here, the teams, and we want to quickly shout out our FRN app as well.
Fans, if you're not already watching on the FRN app, go download it now for a premium streaming experience and to check out the extensive collection of first responder content. And Tom, I got to get another shout out. Of course, FRN, we love them. But if it weren't for FRN, my 2 favorite people watching today down in Florida on FRN would be the mom and dad of head coach
Kevin Shanahan.
Kevin Shanahan for the police department. Hello, Dan and Tina Shanahan down in Florida. We wish you could be here. Our thoughts are with you down there, and Tina, your son's doing a heck of a job.
O'Connell about to throw his 28th pass of the game over the head of the intended target, Miller.
I can't leave out Dan and Tina's other son, Tom.
Mike.
So, football player, retired.
That's right.
But a football family in the Shanahans, Dan and Tina, very, very well. And we wish them all the best.
Absolutely.
And we're setting up for a field goal.
First on for the field goal.
Yep.
Field goal attempt of the game.
Long snapper is Rich Posh, but before we get there, FDNY takes their second timeout, and we'll keep it right here. And John, I personally want to thank a great friend of mine. I'd like to shout out the legendary Phil Tofano of the FDNY,
gosh.
as I'd like to personally dedicate tonight's broadcast and game to the memory of former FDNY Battalion Chief, football player, ring announcer, and my broadcast partner, Phil Tofano. Phil touched the hearts of many folks, including my own, a true legend and an all-around Class E guy. I want to thank Phil not only for his service, but his kind-hearted demeanor, his guidance over the past several years. Phil being my former broadcast partner. Without Phil, we're not here calling the Fun City Bowl right now, and there's a beautiful picture of the chief, Phil Tefano.
You're absolutely right. God bless Phil Tefano. All he's done from a media point of view as well, he will be dearly missed.
28-yard field goal try for Courtney is up and good.
Courtney, police department take the lead. Can you believe it? With the clock ticking down, 10-7 on the field goal, with the kicking game supposedly in favor of FD. Who would have thunk it? A big, big field goal here in the waning moments of the second quarter as the half rapidly approaches. And FD has not only turned this thing into a ball game, they have now given up another 3 points and given up the lead.
Yeah.
As the police department, I think there was a shift, a couple of big hits. And as you know, Tom, there are so many back and forths to a battle like this. You gotta play four. And anything can happen here, especially with Flowers in the backfield. I'd expect a squib kick here, though, in order to keep it out of the hands of Flowers.
Courtney, squib kick, John, you were correct. It bounces high, fielded by Jonas. He is stumped down by Rich Posh of the NYPD, and that is how the first half will end, with the New York Police Department of New York City Finest leading the FDNY Bravest by a score of 10-7. John, any final thoughts before we step aside?
My final thoughts is let's get this 20 minutes over with quick. You know why? This is going to be an epic second half. I can already feel it. You know, it's going to become a little bit more desperate football, especially with the fire department, who's a little bit behind the eight ball at this point. They got to get back in it. It's a tight game. It's going to be one heck of a second half. And this was punch for punch, Tom. This was a heavyweight bout. They went back and forth quite literally, which also included, unfortunately, a couple of ejections. That scrape was kind of quickly smoothed out, though. It wasn't anything too crazy, but it was hard to see Donato and Cunningham ejected from the ball game, and hopefully the guys learned their lessons from that, and we won't see any more of that in the second half.
Well said, John. At halftime, the FDNY trails the NYPD 10-7. We'll return with second half coverage in a few moments, but stay tuned.
And my interview's coming
as
up,
our
Tommy.
very own John Heffernan interviews NPSFL President Jeff Price, coming up next on the First Responders Network.
Michael Martin, free safety. It's my second year on the team. I work for a 135 truck, and I've been on the job 2 years. It's a lot saying you're a New York City fireman. You know, it's a lot of pride comes with that. But saying you're a New York City fireman and then saying you're on the FDNY football team, playing for the Bravest it's like it's a bonus. The league was created around this game. The cops playing the fireman, winning is the only option. You know. Shout out my girlfriend Melissa and my mom Christina, my sister Marissa, and I got like 40 people coming, so I can't name all of you, but thanks for coming.
I'm not gonna let nobody die on my watch.
Hey, since we're in here, get out!
You never know what you're gonna see the second you get out of the car.
Stop! Let me borrow your bike, man. Hey, I got him in sight.
I wasn't thinking about the danger.
I got you, hold on.
Every once in a while, you have an opportunity to truly make a difference.
Give me your other hand!
This isn't a job to me, this is a way of life.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Dallas, Texas, it's the president of the National Public Safety Football League. For those of our viewers who are new to the National Public Safety Football League, just in a few brief words, tell us what the league is and your role in it as the president.
Well, welcome. The National Public Safety Football League is a federation of teams that are made up by full-time first responders, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, all guys that are on the job, doing the job every day They come out in their spare time and raise money and cheer for our charities by playing the game of football. I am the head coach of the Dallas Defenders, which is the Dallas entry in the league, and have been in the league since 1999 as a player, coach, and president of the league now.
Jeff, 30 years as a police sergeant with the Dallas Police Department. I know you recently retired and have shifted and pivoted to a new role. Tell us a little bit about your service over the last 30 years and what's exciting about what you're doing now.
I was blessed with a great career with the Dallas Police Department. Rose to the rank of sergeant there. Was over, like you said, over 30 years. Recently retired from there and took a position as assistant chief deputy at the Collin County Sheriff's Office, which is the county north of Dallas. Dallas is partly in it. So just kind of went back home to serve the community that I actually live in now. It's a great opportunity to continue my law enforcement career while I continue to coach and serve the league and my team here in Dallas.
Can you talk a little bit about the charitable initiatives? This, after all, is a league that focuses so much on charity, and what that means to the overall mission of the NPSFL.
Well, there are no paid members of the NPSFL, from players to coaches to staff to the executive board. Everyone does it as a volunteer. And all of the money that's raised through our charities and through our national charity, which this year, the last couple of years, we supported Tunnel to Towers, which is an outstanding program to help not only first responders with housing, their families if they're lost in the line of duty, but military families. It's really our way of giving back to the communities that we serve.
You know, if you look at all the work that's involved in putting this game on today, for example, here at halftime, you've got team presidents, team vice presidents, team secretaries, marketing people, trainers, coaches, social media, uniforms, equipment. I don't think people really have a full grasp on the amount of work that goes into the Board of Governors and all the different collection of folks that make this happen. Can you talk a little bit about those responsibilities and the hard work that you and so many others put in to put this game onto the field?
Well, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of the people who helped make this happen. So much behind the scenes. And again, it's all volunteer to put on the product, which is a very good product of football, a very good brand of football that we put on for people to enjoy, and great competition. And it takes a lot of people behind the scenes to make that happen. And these folks are doing it, volunteering their time to do so.
You know, recruitment for both players and also for federal agencies and cops and firemen alike are dipping down in some areas. How has recruitment been affected by this league? And what kind of selling points can you say to a guy about this football opportunity? And does it enhance cities, teams, and the league as a whole?
Well, recruitment across the nation is difficult in law enforcement right now. It's a challenge. And also across the board with all the public safety. However, the idea of being able to come out and continue a football career that may have ended in high school, may have ended in college, may have ended in the pros, but coming out and playing what football was initially meant to be, and that is for the fun and the love of the game. And then able, again, and I can't say it enough, with the ability to give back to the people that we serve in a manner that they don't see us every day, I think is a tremendous thing and a tremendous draw for guys to come out and be a part.
And you just said it perfectly. It's obviously more than just football at the end of the day.
Absolutely. We call it a charitable organization to be able to raise money by the use of the game of football. And we try to put on the best product we can on the field for people's enjoyment and for the enjoyment of the players. To be able to give back and raise money for our communities and across the nation.
And Coach, of course, raise awareness. And that's why I couldn't be more excited to be able to partner with First Responders Network this season, covering 4 games and putting a national focus on this league. How important is the media component or relationship with FRN to continue to bring eyes to this beautiful game and the athletes that play in it?
We want to say a huge thank you to FRN and their involvement partnership with us. Without you, we would not be given the national stage that we're given for people to know that we do exist and that we're out here in our mission and what it is. And so that's a great partnership that we have to be able to bring our message across the country.
We've got two marquee teams playing today, the 50th Annual Fun City Bowl, New York City Police Department, the Fire Department of New York, two of the teams that have probably had the bigger spotlight, to be quite honest, a big market team. In terms of the game today, what are your thoughts? And do you think these teams are representing the league in the right way today?
It's a great rivalry between these two teams. They're original teams in the league, both worthy, great programs, great representation of who we are and what we're here for. And I'm very proud that both of them are in, and I wish both teams the best of luck today.
Well, Coach, I have to wish you the best of luck playing for a national championship yourself in Division II. How does it feel to be back in this position? As I mentioned, a former quarterback, now the head coach of the Dallas Defenders. Congratulations, and what are your thoughts on your upcoming game?
I'm very proud of my team. They've done great this year. They've worked hard, and we're very excited to be returning to the Division II championship, and we're going to do our best to get it done this year and get a victory on the board, get another ring. We would love to have that. We're very excited to be back in the game.
Jeff, I was talking to the president of the Fire Department of New York football team, Stevie Orr, who also serves as their special teams coach today. And he was saying to me, John, on Saturday, we hate each other on the field, but off the field, we all have the utmost respect for one another. And Stevie Orr continued by saying, my hat is off to every police officer in the country, especially in the city of New York. It's at times a thankless job, especially in the times we live in today. Can you talk about some inspiring moments, though, that kept you on that job and on the streets of Dallas for 30 years? What did it give back to you to keep you with that tenure for that amount of time?
Being able to go to work every day and it being different, always something new, always challenging, being able to reach out and truly, all of us take the oath because we all want to help citizens. We all want to help people. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to that, be it police officers, firefighters, medical technicians, all of us. We all get into this for that same calling, and it is a calling. And it's a family. It's a brotherhood. It's a brother-sister. It's a family situation. And we all love each other. Yes, for 60 minutes on Saturdays, we battle it out. And it's tough football, but at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game, we're all one family, and we're all there to support each other. And that's what makes it so special in this profession.
National Public Safety League President Jeff Price, thank you so much for joining us. Folks, we're going to take a brief time out. Second half of the Fun City Bowl coming right up.
My name's Sean Keegan. I'm a police officer with the New York City Police Department. I've been with the police department for about 10 years. I've been on the team for 10 years as well. Obviously the biggest game of the year. This game's been going on for over 50 years. It's the game that started off this league, and this rivalry is second to none. The energy of the game is above and beyond any other game throughout the season, and it's just it's unmatched. I just want to say thank you to obviously my family, my wife Devin, my two kids Taylor and Harley, for all the support.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Folks, it's halftime here at the 50th Annual Fun City Bowl football game between the NYPD and the FDNY. Tom Scavetta with John Heffernan. John, great interview with Jeff Price, president of the NPSFL. Learned a lot from watching that.
What a terrific guy, a great representative for the league. As we mentioned during the interview, 16 teams currently in the NPSFL, with Roanoke being bumped up from Division II to Division I this year after winning the Division II National Championship. So lots of exciting things. And Tom, there's also lots of exciting things going on alumni-wise as well today in terms of initiatives with raising money with the playing of this football game. But getting back to Jeff Price, I just want to add the Dallas Defenders, where Price is the head coach of. will be playing for the Division II National Championship on June 24th. So we're looking forward to that. We want to congratulate Jeff for getting his guys to the championship game, and that is the Dallas Defenders on June 24th. But a terrific guy, a stronghold down in the Dallas area, a sergeant for over 30 years in downtown Dallas, and now representing the league in fine fashion. New leadership at the helm for the National Public Safety Football League, and with our partnership with FRN, the sky's the limit for not only the league, but for the network and the growth of this beautiful game, which is being played at such a high level. We saw some of that out there in the first half, Tom.
Absolutely. And, folks, before we get into the first half recap, thank you one and all once again for watching our coverage tonight here on FRN, wherever you may be watching from around the country, whatever stream you're tuning into, the app, YouTube channel, Facebook, whatever it may be. Thank you all so much for joining us for our coverage. And, John, let's get into that first half recap. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't a little bit sloppy, we want to be honest. And I would say really the keys to some of that first half was just the defensive play of the police department, dominant. And we were talking about Jeff Pastore, the head coach of the Tri-State Shield, saying that defensive line for the police department can do some damage. And, you know, we saw plenty of that here in the first half. In addition to a struggling offense for the fire department, Conklin was just 3 of 9 for 25 yards. That statistic is definitely going to have to change in the second half.
And part of the reason why, too, the pressure applied by that defensive line, by the Finest that you just mentioned. You have a bullish defensive tackle in Brandon Ravello. Rob Welsh, a lot of QB hits off the edge. Kevin Ferguson, first-year rookie who's done a fine job. Daniel Effinger with that 1 sack as well. And then you got Basabe and Blaze filling in the A gaps and B gaps on that second level, which has caused some FDNY problems in the passing game, leading to 2 John Conklin interceptions. Both the linebackers, the first to Ulrich Blaze, the second to Mike Malone.
Absolutely, and those turnovers have now proven to be very, very costly. Conklin's going to have to clamp down, and we can't mention the FDNY and some of their struggles in that first half without mentioning Evan Flowers. 1 rush for 21 yards, arguably the best player for the fire department.
And no catches either, which is definitely an alarming sign.
Absolutely a great point. Flowers is going to have to get it going. Conklin's going to have to get it going. But as we mentioned, if the fire department manages to stick around in this one, anything could happen, especially with the leg of Francis on special teams for New York.
Francis Cole, great kicker. But let's recap the scoring quickly. It started with a Conklin pitch touchdown pass to Tommy Heedles inside the 10-yard line. That was the first score of the game. FDNY went up 7-0. The NYPD struck back a 20-yard touchdown pass from Anthony O'Connell to Chris McGrain. Following the touchdown pass to McGrain, 2 players were ejected, and J.P. Donato for the NYPD and John Cunningham for the FDNY. And, folks, at this time, we're going to take a look at the first half highlight package of wide receiver Chris McGrain. And the first play we have for McGrain, John, is on that, I believe, first or second drive. He's running on the near side towards us. Great hands. And here's that block you were talking about on Martin.
Watch this block here. He just telegraphed that block, and it was huge, and the police bench went crazy.
Here's the touchdown. Good route running. And watch him carry these defenders into the end zone. Good awareness.
Not only that, he absolutely steamrolled number 24 for the fire department, Michael Martin.
And then the last play.
Hard-nosed football player, Tom.
The last play there, you can see down the near sideline. And Chris McGrain definitely our MVP of that first half.
Without question. And we mentioned it during the broadcast, Tom. McGrain had a lights-out performance against Chicago in the police department's last game. And I was talking to special teams coach Steve Orr before the game. I said, Coach, what are you going to do about this guy if he starts returning kicks and punts?
Stephen Orr hasn't even had to worry about that. It's the damage he's doing on the field during offensive possessions for the police department that have done so much damage. And one comment Stevie Orr did say is that I said, McGrain's on fire, Coach. What are you going to do? He goes, Johnny, the fire department puts out fires. We'll take care of McGrain, don't worry. But they're going to have to really do that in the second half in order to give themselves a shot to do this. And they can start by shutting down Chris McGrain.
Yeah, Sal DiAugustino, the FDNY defensive coordinator, will have his hands full. Following the touchdown by McGrain, it was a standstill until NYPD Nick Courtney drilled a 28-yard field goal as the Finest went up 10-7 at the half. What is one adjustment the fire department must make to come back in the second half?
Well, it's about momentum. It's about creating a rhythm. Also getting Danny Roll into the game a little bit more. I think their backs have not been utilized efficiently enough. I mean, that receiving core is tremendous, and it's deep. And Conklin, really, it's just going to be up to him about executing. He's had some time to throw the football, Tom.
Yes.
So I think it's really going to come down to what Conklin can get going here, especially to start the third quarter.
Well said, John. Folks, we're going to step away for a short player profile, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
I'm Sean Williams. I play defensive tackle. I've been on the team for 3 years, been to the department for 3 years. As a kid, my dad was number 42, played running back, so while watching him run up and down the field, scoring touchdowns was something I always remember in the back of my head. I remember as a kid, I always wanted to be a cop anyway, so, coming to be on the team now is like a dream come true. It's as good as it gets, man. It's just, on the streets, we love each other, but on the field, we hate each other. And, it's just the back and forth. It's a camaraderie, is that we're better than you, we're better than you. But at the end of the day, it's who has the best one between these white lines. So that's what it comes down to. I got to shout my dad, right? So I got to shout my dad, man. Hopefully he's at the game. I know he works a lot, so hopefully my dad will be there.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Folks, welcome back to Mitchell Field Complex here in Uniondale, New York. Second half getting set to begin in the 50th annual Fun City Bowl football game between the NYPD and the FDNY. NYPD leads 10-7, and before I get to John here, I just want to quickly shout out Phil Tufano's son, Jake Tufano, and his wife. Meant to mention that before when we honored Phil on camera. Once again, just want to appreciate Phil and John. FDNY all wearing 58, Phil's number, on the back of their helmets this season.
That's just beautiful. Beautiful tribute to a beautiful man. And Phil Tufano wore so many different hats, not only a firefighter's helmet, but he wore a boxing ring announcer's hat. He was a terrific broadcaster for the fire department of New York. He really cemented this broadcast component to get it to where it is today. And Tom, I know he meant so much to you as both a mentor and a friend, taking a young guy like yourself under his wing a little bit and giving you some opportunities and really investing a lot of energy and time into your development as not only a young man, but as a broadcaster as well.
I actually met him blindly at the Fun City Bowl back in 2018. Neither of us knew the other was going to be there, and it turned into this outstanding relationship. We were both dumbfounded when we met each other, but you know what? It was for the best, and it turned out to be a great game. And that was the last time NYPD won the Fun City Bowl, was that day, as the second half kickoff just went underway.
That goes into the end zone. I think Phil was a proud guy, and I think he was kind of keeping it close to the vest with some of his medical issues over the years, and it took a lot of us by surprise. It just gone way too soon. I had an opportunity to talk to him on the phone a couple of times, and he's kind of handing the baton off to me as well, or as I started to get into the mix with you guys because of my relationship with George Zayas, who's a big part of our operation here. So he was super gracious to me as well, and we will really miss Phil Tufano. Just a tremendous firefighter and football player.
Thoughts and prayers and love go out to his family and friends as the first play of the second half is a run up the gut for Tremaine Wilson. He is swallowed up by Rob Welsh.
Wilson on the carry. Gain of 1 on the play.
1 yard gain.
The Richie Richards with 3 tackles in the first half. Beatles 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. Tom, you would ask me about my thoughts on what the fire department wants to do. What do you think?
I think right now Conklin needs to get the ball, not just to Evan Flowers, but to Rob Wheeler and Eric Ortega as well. Those two have to do more in the offense, and it starts up front with the offensive line. Conklin's taken off a lot more than he should in this football game.
I also just think Flowers, as dynamic a guy he is, and I know we talk about him a lot, but have you seen him on special teams at all today?
He returned that one punt before.
But besides that,
no.
No.
The 3rd and 4 upcoming for the red and white, led by head coach Cameron Peak.
What do you think Peak had to say at the half?
Well, the
inside
defense,
that room.
You need to find a way to contain Chris McGreen. They have the speed to keep up with him, but McGreen has done a good job outsmarting the FDNY secondary. Credit to PD offensive coordinator Clive Harding. Conklin under duress, wiggles in the pocket, gets away from Farrell, hit hard by Welsh.
Yeah, Welsh just swallowed him up, and Conklin's a little slow to get up. Welsh has been, as advertised, Tom, an absolute beast on the end for the police department. For his size, he's got a tremendous amount of speed and agility for a defensive end.
That's his 3rd quarterback hit of the game, and what's crazy, John, 3-point game heading into the 3rd quarter, and the Fun City Bowl has relatively been a close game, and we're headed to that way. As you see the NYPD faithful in front of this side of the press box where we are, and
gorgeous kick.
FDNY opposite. Great punt by Francis Cole. Nicely done. That one logged about 49 yards, and Johnson with a decent return.
Tom, the 3rd quarter brought to you by OfficerPrivacy.com. First responders, did you know me? Let's start that again. Tom, our 3rd quarter is brought to you by OfficerPrivacy.com. First responders, did you know you may have dozens of online profiles that could put you and your family's personal information at risk? Delete unwanted profiles by going to OfficerPrivacy.com. And protect your family today, OfficerPrivacy.com. Lead sponsor of quarter number 3.
Thanks, John. As O'Connell on 1st and 10, he is sacked. Nicely.
O'Connell is sacked on the play.
It looked like Zerbo got him. Frank Zerbo. Zerbo. Let's take a look at this replay, John. Frank Zerbo, one of the most underrated and underappreciated players on this team.
Frankie Zerbo, look at the penetration, kind of going in nearly untouched from Conklin's left side. Conklin just catching him in his peripheral vision at the last minute. Peripheral, I should say. And Zerbo, like a tank, rolls through to take down Conklin. Once again, O'Connell, I'm sorry. O'Connell manages to get that one on. It's going to be a late hit on the fire department.
Yeah, Denzel Wilson, late hit there as O'Connell. Woodley was able to make the shoestring catch, but FDNY will be slapped with another penalty. No. Oh, okay. Roughing the passer.
Automatic first down. And that is NYPD first down.
All right, so good field position, John, now for the Finest, and they're looking good. As, let me see, it looks like O'Connell just checked out. Davian Quinlan has checked into the game for the first time.
Wow, Tom, it took 33 minutes to get Quinlan into the game.
Low snap. Here he comes.
And Quinlan able to turn nothing into something. He got about 4 yards on that one.
5 yards on the play.
Quinlan,
Mike
it's
Song.
interesting that Quinlan is coming in with the 3-point lead. What do you think the thought process is there, Tom?
Well, he relies a lot on his offensive line, as you saw there on that first run. No concern about the running game this year for Quinlan, and he just continues to stay ready. And again, a nice 5-yard run on that first play of the game, and here he is again on the option, John.
He's become so accustomed to being in this position. He knows his number can be called at any time. Great chemistry with the starter for the police department and O'Connell. No animosity between the two. This platoon has worked all season long. And the offensive coordinator for the police department continues to utilize it to much success. We're talking about
Quinlan is a horse. This guy played running back his last year of college.
Guy too.
Had 248 rushing yards in his last game as a college quarterback. Quinlan rolls right, has a little time, finds Nico Ramirez for a first down on the sideline. Good patience by Quinlan.
Excellent patience by Quinlan, buying himself a little bit of time, rolling right. And he gets Ramirez. Football now in FD territory as the clock approaches 10 minutes here in the opening 5 of quarter number 3.
As we'll see Quinlan here once again in a shotgun, twins to each side. McGreen and Johnson to the right. It looks like Miller and Fitzgerald to the left. No, that's Ramirez and Fitzgerald to the left. Quinlan.
Plenty of time.
Going deep to Johnson. Incomplete. Wow,
and
good display of arm strength.
Absolutely, really stepping into that one. Kyle Johnson looked like he had a little bit of hesitation in trying to catch up to that ball, which might have cost him a step and a half. I don't think it would have played a big part if he had kept in stride there, but throwing it to double coverage fearlessly was Quinlan saying, hey man, we're gonna go right, we're gonna come right at you, which will bring us to second down for the police department. But I like how Quinlan has just stepped in here, slinging away with no fear, and the 3-point lead.
And Phipps, no fear defensively, getting help from Khalifa Forbes and John Moody back deep. Quinlan buys some time, has McGreen open. He gets him the ball. He's got a first down and more, runs right through Timmy Dollison out of bounds. Wow.
And Tom, you know, McGreen, after the catch, is so very good. And we talk about the clean routes that he runs, just finds a little place in the flat, a seam, and just like that, it's a first down. You talk about a reliable receiver. None more reliable than Chris McGrane, especially tonight, as this drive for the police department continues, now down to the fire department 35-yard line.
9 minutes and counting to go in quarter number 3. 4 receivers set, and Quinlan loses the snap. Ball is loose on the ground. It is still loose, and this could prove costly.
I don't know what,
lose it.
I just don't understand what Quinlan's doing there. All he needs to do is fall on top of it. Bobble the snap, no big deal.
Looks like Woodley got it back for the NYPD, but that's risky. See, this is where it gets interesting. O'Connell was playing very, very well. You insert Quinlan, and John, to me at least.
Well, don't forget, Quinlan was, O'Connell was banged up there in the second quarter on a hit, so who knows? Maybe the lingering effects of that have played a part of this. I don't know. I mean, he did return after getting shaken up, but you never know what's going on, right?
Absolutely. Quinlan has trips to his right. Ramirez, McGreen, and Johnson in that order. Woodley, the back to his right. Fitzgerald split out wide left. Quinlan takes off. Good job by Richie Richards and company bringing him down.
Yeah, it was big number 44 for the fire department who held on and would not let go. Of
course, we're talking about Frank Zerbo, the 5'9", 210-pound linebacker for the fire department.
Mike Hart, Cam Peake predicted he would have a solid game.
What a ball player he
Yeah.
is. I've always been a big fan of Mike Hart.
Walk on at Florida, by the way. Had a sack against Corrections.
He's a bona fide football player. Just the way he moves. He makes it look effortless out there. Maybe not the fastest guy, but he is in and around the football constantly and is a hard hitter and a sturdy kid. Prototypical linebacker.
Quinlan looking over the middle, going deep in the area of McGrain. Intercepted by the FDNY, and that was picked off. It looked like, from here at least, it was number 26, Khalifa Forbes.
It's actually number 28, Tom, who got the interception. John Hamilton.
It's Forbes.
I thought it was 20.
The 8 and the 6 look very, very similar, but
anyway, it's I cannot keep pace with the dramatic shifts in this game. And just when they needed it most, the fire department pulls another rabbit out of the hat with a huge interception. And bring out the turnover tool for the fire department of New York. They're going to put the necklace on.
Yep, he gets the turnover chain.
And they keep that in a cedar box with a handle on it, cushions on the inside. It's a bit of bling, and it's a tradition for the last 4 or 5 years on turnovers. The turnover tool is a large FDNY insignia circled on a big, huge, heavy chain.
Introduced to us by Frank Vozos, if you remember.
That's right. But nice job by number 26 for the fire department on
Khalifa Forbes, who
the interception.
John, he had 3 picks against Roanoke down in Virginia, including a pick 6. But Conklin, with another chance deep in his own territory, drive will start from their own 3-yard line, and the run goes nowhere.
Tom, I got to tell you, that's got to be really debilitating for that police department team. Putting together such a solid run with a new quarterback in the game. And I love the fearlessness from Quinlan, just throwing it deep down the field twice in a row. Second one picked off, but a healthy drive just absolutely snuffed out on the interception by Forbes.
And we'll take a look to see here if the NYPD and their defense can get the job done. Number 94, Eric Ryan, has checked into the game at the 1-tech position. Conklin looks, finds Wheeler, his first catch of the game finally. He gets close to the marker, brought down from behind by NYPD. That was number 52 for the Finest, Anthony Lombardi. Third and 3. Conklin, quick throw. Heedles, first down. Second catch for Heedles, first since the touchdown, John.
Well, Tommy Heedles getting back into the mix. And we mentioned some of the key components for the fire department to turn it around was start to use that receiving core. I haven't seen any looks at Tommy Herrick.
No, Herrick not even on the field. Conklin with Wilson to his left in the backfield with the 4 receivers set. Conklin on the run once again, spins into Khalid Lewis. What is going on, John? Another NYPD sack. Disastrous protection. I believe Brandon Ravello was the one that got there first.
Well, it was number 93 for the police department who absolutely swam over the lineman for the fire department, putting on the initial pressure onto the quarterback. Number 93 for the police department doing a great job.
George Burke mentioned that Brandon Ravello is an absolute bulldog at the defensive tackle position, and he has been for a very long time. You see Nico Ramirez getting checked out by the trainer there on the sideline. Hopefully he can continue in his final game with the NYPD football team. Wilson gets a handoff. Got a little bit of wiggle room. Rob Welsh brought him down from behind.
You mentioned Ravello, 5'7", 225 pounds. Did you give him the Bulldog for years line? That was.
I did not, but now.
I think it's very fitting, very fitting.
Yes, very fitting. As Brandon Ravello, just 5'7", by the way.
Yeah. So 3rd and 3. Fire department back way up in their own end now at 17, 18 yard line.
3rd and 8 after the sack there. And Conklin will have trips to the left, one receiver to the right. Conklin in some traffic, zips it.
Yeah, he's going to be short.
Sidearm release to Payne. Minimum yardage. It'll be 4th and long. FDNY forced to punt.
Man, so Tom had close to 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. I mean, if you're a fan in the stands, we haven't seen the big kick return for the touchdown. We may not have seen a big 95-yard pass play, but we have seen a very physical ball game here tonight, especially in the trenches with a couple of standout performances. And it's still 3 points separating this game. But what do you think has been the problem with the flow tonight?
Well, it's all NYPD's defenses. Cole is taking his time. Booms a punt. McGrain calls for the fair catch wisely at his own 30-yard line.
Did you see Cole steal about 6-7 yards on that?
Yep.
That was something else.
That was a 52-yard punt by Francis Cole.
Again, he could be in the conversation tonight if he keeps this up.
Folks, we'll take a look. John, I know FDNY on 9/11 lost 22 players on the Bravest football team. And, John, why don't we list them off when we get a chance here for the folks at home?
The firefighters wear a patch on their shoulder with the number 22 on their jerseys in honor of the 22 players lost from that football team on September 11, 2001. So we're going to give recognition to those 22.
O'Connell.
Watch O'Connell.
Incomplete.
Interception. Okay, should we get started with this list now?
Absolutely, John. Let's
firefighter Belson, number 24. Number 70.
Firefighter Bergen.
Number 3, firefighter Bielfeld.
Number 67, firefighter Bilcher.
And Bilcher was the guy that
Wheeler
picked to be the one player that he had to research during the luncheon.
The 9/11 luncheon.
I love how they do that.
Yeah.
To get to know number 67, Bilcher. Bilcher had a connection to him. And is it Tallentine or in Staten Island where they went to high school?
I believe
together?
it was the same high school, and Wheeler would walk by, his name. He'd be honored, and Wheeler would just walk by him, and he would kind of look up to him to an extent.
Yeah.
So definitely an interesting storyline.
So I
John.
guess the story is the Probies get assigned a player that died on 9/11 because
Yes.
they always want to keep
all the
memory
rookies
alive and say their names aloud. And I love that the dinner, the lunch was what, Thursday or
It was
Wednesday of
on
this week?
Thursday, and before we get to the rest of those names, former FDNY head coach John Rosati quoted this at the luncheon. "A man dies twice in his life. The first time you leave the earth. The second time is when you stop talking about them."
And that's one of the key reasons why, to keep these guys
Never forget.
that passed away on 9/11 forever ingrained in everyone's memory and on everyone's lips. That puts on the firefighter.
3rd and 10. O'Connell back in the game, zips it incomplete.
Number 18, firefighter Calabro.
Number 80, firefighter Cawley.
Number 25, firefighter Coleman.
Number 3, firefighter Cullen.
Number 32, firefighter Fletcher.
Number 40, firefighter Florio.
Number 34, firefighter Foley.
Number 31, firefighter Glasgow.
Number 85, Chief Haskell.
Number 33, firefighter Johnston.
Number 10, firefighter Lyons.
Number 40, Lieutenant Margiota.
Number 48, Lieutenant O'Callahan.
Number 71, firefighter Pearsall.
Number 88, Captain Stackpole.
Number 80, firefighter Sir.
And number 31, Lieutenant Sullivan. We love all you guys, and you will always be remembered. Of the 341 that died in total.
That number, unfortunately, continues to go up, John. And folks, we're going to step aside for a quick break here on the First Responders Network.
Frank Zerbo, linebacker, engine 160, 3 years on the team, 3 years on the department. The game means everything to me. The goal at the beginning of every single year should be for everybody on the team is to beat the cops. Yeah, we want to win every game, but it's always beat the cops. We're brothers. I'll do anything for anybody on this team. I'll put my life on the line. I'll dive and do anything crazy to make a play, just like I would on the fire floor for them. And the idea is you never give up. We all go home safe. We all go home with a W.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Folks, welcome back to Uniondale, New York. John, we just heard from firefighter Frank Zerbo of the Bravest, number 44.
Yeah, it's so cool to get a chance to know some of these guys. Great job by FRN and these little bio snippets that they've spent so much time and work on going out to shoot these guys this week at practice. Just a terrific time.
Wow.
To see their faces. Underneath the helmets and pads, you don't always get a good look at the guys. And certainly Greg brought that to you here today.
I don't mean to cut you off, John, but did you see that snap on the punts?
Yeah.
That was not good.
Not a good snap.
And right to your point pregame, special teams advantage FDNY.
I know. So, you know, we said it last year in the first half, this could come down to the last play of the game, and it's certainly pointing towards that again tonight. We said it earlier in the game, too. If the fire department can get it to the fourth quarter, that's when they seem to turn it up, turn on their magic. We're just 2:20 away from that fourth quarter. Let's see what kind of magic Conklin has here. He's got a couple of receivers to his left, decides to hand it off. Tom, I'm doing your job there.
Yeah, Wilson up the gut, all good as Malone with the tackle at midfield. Wilson picked up 5.
And he's over the 50-yard line.
Malone will stay in there along with Anthony Lombardi, couple of reserves. Wilson off tackle right, has some running room. Brought down from behind by Brandon Quinn and others. So the FDNY looking to use their running game to move the sticks here. And they've done a good job as Wilson picks up a Bravest first down.
Sure, it was pretty powerful reading those 22 names. I don't mean to go back to that, but that kind of caught me off guard. One of the more proud moments I've ever had working as a sportscaster was being able to share those guys along the time. Means a lot.
Absolutely. And we thank all of those men for their service. And a nice play there made by Ulrich Blaze, bringing down Wilson.
We gotta get our PA announcer Kevin Connolly over here for a little guest spot. Guys, bringing it, bringing the energy.
Absolutely.
Shout out Kevin Connolly. He's doing some sports casting over at St. John's, helping us out here today. Replacing, well, there will be no replacing
Kevin Van Meter,
the longtime PA man for the New York City Police Department.
Conklin with a 4-receiver set again. Under a minute to go in the third quarter. 2nd and long. The pass out to Ortega. Has some running room. Brought down from behind by Welsh.
Falls on the ground.
NYPD recovers. That is the 3rd FDNY turnover. The strip by Rob Welsh. Wow, John. Rob Welsh enters his name into the conversation for possible
absolutely
consideration.
Absolutely. The Syracuse University alum continues to get stronger, and now we've got a flag down and a skirmish and some pushing and shoving. We got laundry all over the field, multiple flags, and coming up with the football is big number 50 for the police department with authority and an exclamation point.
The refs are not holding back. They've already ejected 2 players in this game. If you're just tuning in now,
they didn't want to let this get out of hand.
Absolutely.
That was Rashawn Williams, the defensive lineman for the PD. Good for him.
We learned a little bit about Rashawn Williams earlier this week. Daniel Parker and Joe Ryder, 2 of our very own, went down to the practice field.
Father played.
Yep.
He said he knew ever since he was a little kid he wanted to
play football
and wanted to be a police officer.
Best part, 3 years on the job, 3 years on the team. Let's take a look.
Right. Tony's letting us watch a little fight right now, Tom.
Let's take a look at this replay.
We got to take this when it's here because we're probably never going to see this again. I just mean, we like to keep it clean here. Thank goodness we got people right here. Okay, so what a tackle, too.
Yeah, well scripted.
Gorgeous.
Sean Williams recovered.
Yeah, it was just textbook tackle. Thing of beauty by Welsh. See, Tony, I knew it. You're not going to let us watch the scrap. Come on, Tony.
We didn't
play it through.
Offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties is the call.
All right, so we've got a wash here on the penalties.
Yes. So the PD will take over, but one thing, John, they have not been able to establish is a running game, and this has been more of an O'Connell game than a Quinlan game. Here today, O'Connell in there in the second half.
It's true. I guess the consistency and the decision-making of O'Connell keeping them in the game. And the toughness, I might add.
Flea flicker. O'Connell goes deep in the direction of Johnson. Incomplete.
Oh!
Swatted away by Tim Dollison.
Tom, he could have made that football catch, though.
Good pass deflection.
2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line.
19 seconds remain in quarter number 3, and Tim Dollison, product of Temple University, 6th season with the Finest, with the Bravest, I should say, pardon.
Also the long snapper on this team, replacing the starting long snapper. I think it was back in that Shell game.
Yep.
As the fire department took on the Tri-State Shields. Allison doesn't look back. Many responsibilities for the fire department.
Bunch receiver set to the right for O'Connell with Woodley. He's under some pressure. O'Connell throws it in the dirt at the feet of Johnson, incomplete. Good pressure by Mike Hart and Denzel Wilson.
Also in on that was number 3 for the fire department, I believe.
Travis Pope,
who's done a remarkable job coming in at DN.
Big kid, too.
6'3", 275.
Yeah. 13 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 3rd and 10 is the down and distance.
So, big play here for the fire department defense. They can hold the police department here. Police decide to pull away and give FD great field position heading into the 4th quarter.
O'Connell has some time in the pocket. Throws. Incomplete. Too far for Mike Miller. Moody was knocking on the door. 4th down.
Miller was the intended receiver.
Wow. So the fire department defense gets the job done once again. They've done a fine job this season at keeping games close, getting it to the 4th quarter. NYPD, it's been very different for them. 2 of their 3 wins this year have been shutouts. They beat Corrections 27-0 and Tri-State 25-0 as Sheridan has his punt blocked by Gerard Waterman.
Oh my gosh.
Number 83 for the Bravest. Wow, John, special teams once again. Steve Orr in the clutch.
Stevie Orr got to be absolutely thrilled with his guys. We're going to take a look
Let's take a look at this replay.
We're going to take a look at it after a break time.
Yep.
Right?
3rd quarter is over. We head to quarter number 4 shortly here on the First Responders Network.
Timothy Dawson, defensive back.
Been on the job for 7 years, on the team for 6 years. It's a smooth transition from work to practice or from practice to work and then the game and vice versa. I treat the football field and the fire department the same. It's my routine. It's like you have practice, you have film, you got to know your playbook. In sports, you do a lot of community service work. It's always good to get out there and touch base of like who we're serving and who we're protecting. Just like we got to know our opponent, we got to know our community and see what they like and what they don't like. So it's just a different way to bond on and off the field with the community around you.
Woodley, running back, police officer, and I work with the Brooklyn North Borough. I've been part of the team for 4 years now, and I've been on the job for 4.5 years. It means a lot to represent NYPD. You know, you go out to different events, do community events, and we wear our football gear, and a lot of the kids see that, and you know, they're always interested in coming out to games, and they always ask us like how it is being a police officer and a football player as well. As a police officer, whatever you do, you got to put your mind to it. You got to make sure you're safe. You got to make sure your partner's safe. You know, I love everything about, you know, playing football and being a police officer.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Folks, we just saw William Woodley of the NYPD and Tim Dollison of the FDNY during that break. Welcome back to quarter number 4.
I won't get in trouble.
Tom Scavetta, John Heffernan. Conklin throws over everybody.
Yeah, that pass intended for the receiver, number 88 on the fire department of New York City, just out of the outstretched hands.
Marco Babby.
Second down and 10 from the 17-yard line.
The second down and 10 upcoming. As we'll get a substitution in here. Flowers back in the game. John Flowers has been in and out.
Haven't seen the Flowers that we're accustomed to seeing. Look for
he trips to the right here with
look for Ortega.
Wilson off tackle on the left side. He's got some running room. He's in the end zone for an FDNY touchdown.
Oh my goodness.
17.
Another lead change. And the fire department take the lead on the running touchdown by number 21 for the fire department of New York City. We talked to him before the game, Tom, a quiet young man, a rookie, a probie, scoring perhaps one of the biggest touchdowns of his career. Tremaine Wilson puts the fire department ahead.
We're going to take a replay here.
I thought they were going to go in the air to Ortega. They fooled everyone. They go around the other side, and Wilson scampers in relatively easily. And the extra point now to be attempted by the fire department.
Wilson with a great run there for the touchdown.
Kind of tiptoed the sideline, Tom, and the fire department with the extra point is good. It is now 14-10.
Yep, Cole hits the extra point down the middle. 14-10 FDNY lead off the 17-yard touchdown scamper from Tremaine Wilson, who scores his 6th total touchdown of the season, 4th rushing.
Well, Tom, that took all of 13 seconds here in quarter number 4.
as Cole will kick off. McGrain and Johnson will be back deep to return. Unlike the Finest this season, where 2 of their 3 wins came via the shutout, the Bravest have had to inch and claw for majority of their wins. Now, they did blow out Orlando 33-3 down in Florida, but their last 3 games at Roanoke, 21-20 down in Virginia, where Anthony Phipps stopped a 2-point attempt. At Tri-State, May 6th, Francis Cole, game-winning field goal in overtime. 15-12 slugfest down in Brooklyn, where they beat the Boldest in a really poor weather game. The only touchdown of that game scored by Adrian Avilas. 3 wins by a combined total of 7 points has helped bring them here to the Fun City Bowl and the national championship game. McGrain takes the kickoff from Cole. The end over end kick. McGrain has some room. Look at him run. No flags. He's still going. Cole bumps him out near midfield. Wow.
He is smooth. He is smooth.
45-yard return for McGrain.
And we talked about at halftime the sense of urgency likely going to be picking up in the 3rd and 4th quarters, and we're seeing just that. Some more chances being taken, a couple of more turnovers, special teams being affected big time.
We have an injury down on the near sideline for FDNY. That is number 23, it looks like, Mike Silva. FDNY with 4 turnovers in this game with the 2 picks and the 2 fumbles, yet they still have a 4-point lead over the Finest, which is absolutely incredible.
It looks to be a cramp in the right leg. The temperature dropping dramatically tonight here at Mitchell Field. It was a high of 92 in some interior parts of New Jersey yesterday. Long Island. We're in the 50s out here in Long Island, New York.
I want to give a quick shout out while we have a break here to the Widows and Children's Fund, sponsor of the NYPD, and also the Joseph Pritchard Foundation, 2 of the charities that the NYPD works with, and their sponsors include the NYPD Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, NYPD Detectives Endowment Association, and the Sergeant Benevolent Association, the sponsors and charities of New York's Finest.
And we are back to getting underway here in the 4th quarter. 14:37 remain. Time to
Yeah, we'll throw those FDNY guys in there, John.
UFA Thomas Alasser Fund, FDNY Fire Family Transport Foundation, UFA Widows and Children's Fund, New York Firefighters Burn Center Foundation.
We'll get to...
Got a few more.
Yeah, a few more in just a moment. O'Connell rolls left under pressure. He is sacked by Mike Song.
A trio of defenders in on the sack. Oh, boy, these guys are nasty.
Yeah.
This is a really physical ball game.
Brings up 2nd down and 17.
Big number 95. And on the tackle for the Fire Department of New York. As well.
Also have the, John, I believe the Gary Sinise Foundation, right, for the FDNY?
Yeah, we talked about the Gary Sinise Foundation before.
Oh.
Hollywood actor known for his and Forrest Gump. And somehow, O'Connell got that away, unable to complete the pass. And just to fill out the rest of the FDNY sponsors, of course, the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which is now really all over the country. Races in honor of Stephen Siller, who was on his way home from the shift in 2000. The Tunnel to Towers.
O'Connell has time, fires, incomplete, broken up by Elijah Toussaint.
Great job by Toussaint diving to get a piece of that pass from O'Connell. And just a little bit more about the Stephen Siller Tunnel Towers Foundation, helping America's Heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star fallen first families with young children about building specially adapted smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. We also commit to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September 11th.
Thank you very much, John. As Sheridan's wobbly punt is fielded by the NYPD down at the 27-yard line.
Shout out to Stephen's wife and 5 children. Playing for a lot more than just trophies, Tom. In this one, of course, the First City trophy on the line, in addition to the national championship. There certainly are a lot of reasons why these guys are playing today. But you've got a quick little promo, Tom. Take it away.
Quick reminder, the fourth quarter is brought to you by Strike Light 2, developed by Public Safety's most trusted partner. The Strike Light 2 provides industry-best effectiveness, portability, and protection to any activity. For a limited time, go to taser.com and use promo code NPSFL to save $25.
Tom, I'm thinking, what a voiceover career.
Wilson with the runoff tackle. He's got some room. Plows ahead to the 45-yard line. Gain of 16.
And that's got to be the biggest gain on the ground of this second half, Tom, for the fire department.
They get the running game going.
Big gain, and opens things up immensely for FDNY. They up 14-10, and the last go around, an impressive touchdown in the opening moments of quarter number 4, and backhammering away are New York's Bravest, giving it their all here in the fourth quarter.
1st and 10 at their own 45-yard line. Conklin trips to his left. The one receiver split out near side right is Marco Babby. Wilson the back to his left. They have not used Nick Sumter much today, who's been having a fumbling issue, as this will be a pass interference by Brandon Quinn, but the feet got tripped up a little bit. I'm not sure it was intentional, but nevertheless. Oh, it's on Taha. No, it is on Quinn.
I'm going to see what our stat guys can pull up, but I'd love to see the comparison on penalties today, FD versus PD, and total yards, because it was the police department that got hurt early, and now are shooting themselves in the foot here again in the fourth quarter with some costly mistakes.
Absolutely. Well, so far, the NYPD's done a good job of pressuring Conklin. It's forced him into a pair of interceptions. The FDNY has turned it over 4 times, but the problem is NYPD has been unable to take advantage.
It really is remarkable, Tom, to think about 4 fire department turnovers and how many of those were converted into points for the police department.
Well, they haven't been able to capitalize much at all.
Not, and that's the key.
Wilson, look at that lane, John. Another gain of 10. I mean, he's running all over.
Gap, and Wilson coming up out of nowhere. A couple of big gains in the game against the boldest. But we talked about he'd been kind of dormant here in this one. Ends up getting the TD, probably the biggest one of his career.
Yeah.
And the biggest stage, and a huge galloping run by Tremaine Wilson.
Under 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Wilson, 11 carries for 59 yards. So he's averaging over 5 yards per carry.
And they're bringing the heat here. The defense for the police department showing blitz on that play. Sent everybody, although it was a handoff. Linebackers coming, everybody coming on that one.
So Wilson, it'll be 1st and 10.
11-10 remaining.
Yeah.
Fire department putting a very nice drive together. Up by 4. And the officiating, I think, overall has been pretty pretty decent tonight. I mean, other than those ejections, Tom, not too many major controversies.
Yeah. Conklin, the toss out to Wilson. He's got some room. He runs through that PD front. Tejada brings him down, but not before he gets near the first down marker. Let's see where they spot it.
Well, it's the Tremaine Wilson show here in this series.
Second down and 1.
Wilson's all over.
Wilson up the gut, Wilson left. And it is
12 carries on the day for him now.
Second and about 2.
A short 2. Probably a long 1, realistically.
Conklin has played from the shotgun all game long, per the usual.
First down.
Right-handed quarterback.
Ricketts and Blaze made the tackle there.
Conklin, 5'11", 220 pounds, second year with the fire department. So he was a sanitation guy, Tom, before going to corrections. Or was sanitation and played for corrections before coming over to the fire department.
As clock moving under 9.5 minutes to go, Tremaine Wilson, John Cunningham, and John Conklin, all former corrections players. This is Wilson's first season with the Bravest. For Cunningham and Conklin, it's their second. Cunningham was ejected earlier in the first half.
And there are rules in place within the NPSFL where you can't just go and poach a bunch of guys from another team. There are portals and protocols attached to all of those things. Although there has been some talk, Tom, about trying to incorporate some new players onto these rosters.
Looked like Rashawn Williams and Brandon Ravello, who is the injured Finest player, down, colliding on the stop. And folks, we're going to step aside for a quick break. We'll be back shortly here on the First Responders Network.
My name is Mustafa Young. I'm a police officer in community affairs. I've been on the job coming up on 9 years, been on the team coming up on 9 years. Coming out of college, playing football, expecting to go further. I come to this team and, I'm just thinking it's just a regular league or, semi-pro league or whatnot, but you really create a brotherhood here. People coming from different backgrounds, different precincts, so on and so forth. And once we're on the field, we're all just one. You have to have a switch. Once you're in policing, you got to know when to turn it on, when to turn it off. And it's the same thing on the football field. You got to know when to have the discipline, when to go full out, but always go 100%.
You're watching the National Public Safety Football League on FRN.
Welcome back, folks, to Uniondale, New York. Tom Scavetta with John Heffernan. John, we just saw Mustafa Young during that commercial break, a guy who's been on the team for 9 years now and works with the Far Rockaway New York Giants.
He does, and the New York Football Giants are also involved in that charitable initiative. And Mustafa Young talking about 3 of his kids going on to play at St. Peter's Prep in Staten Island or Jersey City. I forget which one, but some very good candidates that have done beautiful things under the tutelage of Mustafa Young.
As Wilson moves forward again, and there is Mustafa Young on the tackle. Right on cue, John. The last time NYPD won the Fun City Bowl, Mustafa Young had the game-winning interception.
Interesting fact.
Young's been around for a while. And FDNY, this is an important play. They've chewed up a lot of the fourth quarter here. But if we're being realistic, it's not 4-down territory. If you don't get the first down, you're comfortable with Francis Cole going out there to kick a field goal.
Absolutely, and more importantly, Tom, the clock continues to tick. Fire department chewing up quite a bit of time on this drive, now down to 7:15 to go.
And Wilson dropped the pass.
Wilson just looks down at the dirt saying, man, took my eye off that one at the last second. Wilson
has been locked in here in the fourth quarter, especially.
It is 4th down and 4.
Is it 4th and 4, Tom?
It is 4th and 4.
It's a big, big 4th and 4 right now.
And they're lining up to kick the field goal. It will be Francis Cole.
You can just take the points. Is that the mentality?
Absolutely.
And this is well within his range. We're talking about, about a 20, 35-yarder?
Yep. 34 yards for Cole.
Cole missed a 48-yard attempt in the rain in Brooklyn 2 weeks ago.
And the kick by Francis Cole is good.
Tom, I think that could have cleared 48 yards easily.
Francis Cole extends the FDNY lead to 7 points. The rookie out of Engine 59 played at Central Connecticut State, Anna Maria College, and Cole now 3 for his last 4 field goals. Cole, I believe he hit 2 in the Boldest game, missed 1, had the game winner against Tri-State, so I believe that's a total of 4 for 5 on the year for Francis Cole.
So the kick is good, and more importantly, the fire department up by 7. It's a 1-possession game with 7:12 to go. Plenty of football to be played. And fans, don't go anywhere. At the conclusion of this one, we will be bringing you the trophy presentation live from the field here on First Responders Network, including an MVP interview on the field conducted by yours truly. That MVP will be determined collectively by head coach Cam Peak for the fire department and Kevin Shanahan, respectively, for the police department. That's coming up immediately following the end of the game.
So Cole will kick off with his team ahead 17-10. Johnson and McGrain back deep. Line drive kick fielded on several hops by Johnson at his own 10-yard line. He takes off. He is across the 30, stumped down at the 32, and that is where the Finest will start this possession. And it is O'Connell once again.
So, Tom, one big play as one big full moon hangs over Mitchell Stadium. See if one of our guys can get a shot of that full moon. Man, I wonder if things are getting so crazy out here.
Is it actually a full moon tonight?
It appears that poking through the clouds. It's a big one. I expect nothing but insanity for the end of this game.
A quick lineup change, folks. There is a new center in the game. Sean Brophy has replaced Tyler Frigerio.
Sean Brophy is a beast in that backup role.
He was a guard in the Nashville game against Chicago PD. High snap, O'Connell rolls left. McGrain a little low for him. Incomplete.
One thing we haven't seen is any of that wildcat from Heedles for the fire department of New York, the backup quarterback, backing up Conklin. We saw a little bit of that in the Boldest game. Heedles was desperate to try to get that into the game today, but so far nothing.
I'm giggling because the Heedles comparison was what? As Frigerio comes back into Brophy, for Brophy. Was it Cordell Stewart, John?
Yeah, we got a little Cordell Stewart comparisons. I don't know if we were quite up there yet, but either way, we still got one heck of a ball game, folks. This could go either way with 6:57 to go.
FDNY looking for their 11th straight win. O'Connell takes the snap, pump fakes, throws in the direction of McGrain, intercepted by Toussaint. And McGrain wraps him around like a pretzel.
Yeah, a lot of frustration coming out of number 12 there. You can't blame him. And another flag on the field.
It's the first pick for O'Connell. So now Quinlan and O'Connell each with one interception.
Wow. And Tom, that could not have come at a better time in the ball game than it did right there. He threw that ball into double coverage with 6:48 to go. All the fire department has to do now is just run the football, try to get a first down here, and they could chew up at least 3 or 4 minutes on the clock with this possession, even with coming away with no points, which I don't think is very likely based on where that interception ended up.
So the turnover is good, but personal foul.
Oh, it's going to back
unnecessary
up the fire
roughness
department.
on the fire department, 15 yards.
If anything, I thought McGrain was had a little extra after the interception, but
yeah, well, I think McGrain just a little frustrated. They were clearly forcing him the ball on that play. 6:48 to go in the contest. John, FDNY, you continue to roll with Wilson here. It's been working.
Why not? Why not? He's gotten you into the end zone before today. Why not go with the hot hand? Wilson.
Conklin, the pitch to Wilson, right. Gets past Effinger. Ravello brings him down. Got some help from Blaze.
And he's still got about 3 or 4 yards. And, you know, the fire department knew he was coming. And they still weren't able to stop Tremaine Wilson, who might be in the conversation now, Tom, for certainly a notable player for the fire department today. Some other notables that haven't really panned out today. Let's think about a couple of receivers for the fire department that might have kind of disappeared. Any thoughts on that?
Evan Flowers.
That would be one.
No catches. Eric Ortega had the one fumble.
Ortega's had a couple of good catches today, though, as well.
Conklin. 3 receivers set. Got a fourth in the game lined up to the left of the formation as a tight end as Wilson takes another handoff. Nice tackle made low by Marquise Artis.
And Wilson still manages to get 2 yards in the plate. Do you see that hesitation by Wilson? He just took a little step back, cut to his left, and was able to salvage that run by gaining 2 yards on the play. So big play here for the fire department. Clock ticking now down close to 5 minutes to go. That full moon looming here in Long Island.
Absolutely. And you know what? We have to give credit to the fire department offensive line as well, anchored by Tim Caffrey and John Seda. 2 captains have done a good job offsetting the NYPD front. They've won the line of scrimmage in this second half. The pass to Wilson can't make the catch. Second time Wilson has dropped the pass.
And excellent pressure by Welsh on that play that forced the throw by Conklin.
I'm smelling overtime.
And the and the fire department is going to kick it away here.
Francis Cole onto punt.
You know, we haven't seen a punt or a kick return for a touchdown. Now might be the time, Tom.
And the punt from Cole from his own 42-yard line. Johnson catches it at the 10. Wow, that was a 48-yard punt. Cole is all over that. Kenny Surratt with a nice tackle, but a decent return for Johnson. Surratt still trying to make a name for himself on special teams today, going down, making a play.
Good job by Surratt, the former long snapper for the fire department.
And let's see who the quarterback is on this possession. It's Quinlan.
Interesting choice. Quinlan back out there with 4:36 to go. And they have a long march to make down the field as the police department will get started on their own 25.
Trips to the right for Quinlan. Roll is the back. Quinlan throws a screen to Johnson. It's a little low. Trying to wiggle and get some space. Mike Song wraps him up. Gain of 4.
Late hit there.
Pass is complete. Johnson on the reception. Gain of
And for Kyle Johnson, he's been quiet today, John, just his second reception. NYPD looking to improve to 4-0 on the season, winning their 5th consecutive game and their 4th consecutive national championship. However, it would be their first Fun City Bowl since 2018. Quinlan looks left, throws, finds Fitzgerald, who makes the catch. He has a first down. NYPD wanted a face mask, so they won't get it. Dollison and Martin collide on the tackle.
Yeah, number 8 for the police department with a little spin move. Timothy Dollison making sure the play stopped only after a couple of yards.
I'll tell you, John, sometimes the hardest first down to get is the first one on a drive like this late in the game. Quinlan, 4 receivers set, 2 to each side. Woodley in as the back on this play. Clock is running. They got to move. Quinlan throws, screen pass caught by McGrain. Nice block by Johnson, but a better tackle by the fire department. It looked like Phipps.
It was Anthony Phipps who stayed right with McGrain. McGrain doing a little shuffle, little stutter step. Phipps stayed with him. And it's now going to be 2nd and 4.
Phipps had 5 tackles in last year's game in the Fun City Bowl. And we'll see what happens here as Quinlan.
You got 3 receivers to the left, rolls to his left, finds McGrain again.
Another catch. And it looks like that was Forbes that bumped him out. 2.5 minutes to go, John. NYPD has to move. They haven't gotten to midfield yet. They have to move just a little bit quicker here.
Yeah, there is no 2-minute warning at this level. I think it might be 1.
Quinlan, the product of Plain Edge High School, Hartwick College. Can he lead the Finest down the field to potentially tie the game and extend this Fun City Bowl? Trips to his left. Johnson singled out right. Roll makes the catch. He fights to get about a yard past the line of scrimmage, pickup of 1.
He's forced out of bounds as the clock continues to count down.
As the referees will converge here near midfield, the ball is spotted at the PD 48. Still a pretty big crowd here in Uniondale, New York. There will be a time adjustment as Kevin Shanahan wants an explanation. Quinlan will return to the huddle. PD's done a good job of getting receivers open. You take away Donato, it's all youth on the field outside of Nico Ramirez. And John, I think Nico could possibly play a critical role here on this possession. Let's see what Quinlan can do. Shotgun, 4 receivers, rolls. He has to take off. He's got some room, but he has to get down. He does inside the 35-yard line.
And we talked about it, Tom, all game long. That's the threat that Quinlan brings that O'Connell may not necessarily be able to match. And the biggest gain of the day for Quinlan could not have come at a better time. 1:42 to go, and this is going down to the wire.
I believe there's a timeout taken on the field. And folks, I want to quickly remind you all that this quarter is brought to you by Strike Light 2, developed by Public Safety's most trusted partner. The Strike Light 2 provides industry-best effectiveness, portability, and protection to any activity. For a limited time, go to taser.com and use promo code NPSFL to save $25. That is StrikeLight2.com.
Very cool stuff. Check out taser.com.
It's an injury timeout as Richie Richards is limping off the field. That is an awful sign for FDNY. I mean, he's okay walking under his own power, but you lose him for at least one play, John. And it's Hart, Zerbo, and it looks like Carberry is the third linebacker in the game right now. It's getting intense here in Uniondale, New York. Trips to the left for Quinlan.
Most of these fans now up on their feet.
141.
Low snap.
Yeah, low snap. Quinlan surveys. He might take off again. He has some room. He has the first down and more. Still going inside the 20. Helmet went flying.
I thought that was the ball for a second. And another big, big play by Quinlan. And Tom, Quinlan is single-handedly resurrecting the police department on what could be their final drive of the game.
He got the ball from the 33 to the 17. So that is a 16-yard run for Quinlan. He has runs of 16 and 18 yards respectively on this drive. So 1st and 10 from the 17, approaching the 1-minute mark to go in the game, 1:02 to be exact. Quinlan off tackle left, he has it running, stiff arms a defender, gets out of bounds. Zerbo dragged him out along with Forbes. Quinlan got about 4 or 5 on that one.
Well, we were saying the same thing about Tremaine Wilson, who seemed to be getting a lot of momentum of his own for the fire department, and now it's Quinlan who's matching things on the other side for the fire department and making no bones about it, especially on that last run. That was a design play.
Absolutely, as we have a timeout taken by the NYPD. And that is their first of the half. So each team with 2 timeouts remaining. The score is FDNY 17, NYPD 10.
Don't go anywhere. We are going to stay right here. 17-10 with 54 seconds to go. Tom, it always seems to come down to the final play with these two teams.
Well, let's take a look. The final score at MetLife Stadium in 2021, 20-14. 2017 at MCU Park, 24-21 in favor of the fire department. So again, close games, no shocker. Last year, 29-27, a little higher scoring, but you get the point, folks. These are close games.
That one literally was won on the last play of the game. So Tom, I don't know. What are your thoughts on an MVP? We got to start talking about it now or never. If FD holds on, it's a tough call. I mean,
so it will be decided by Peak and Shanahan, respectively.
Of course,
but
for fun for our viewers.
For our sake and for the viewers, I would say if, depending on what happens on this drive,
I mean, with scoring alone, Wilson, the kicker, dare I say, running back Wilson. Anyway, let's get back to the game. Huge play with the game on the line right now for the police department.
2nd down and 5, ball is on the 12-yard line.
And
absolutely
not much cooking. Stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Excellent job by the D-line, collectively led by Denzel Wilson. And Tom, you know they're going to be going for it on 4th as well.
We're under 30 seconds to go. They're letting this roll. Quinlan looks left, fires, caught McGrain. First down, but he stayed in bounds. PD is going to have to take a timeout, and they will. That's their second with 20 seconds to go in the game.
He was absolutely popped by Timothy Dollison, but was able to hold on to the football for the completion, and it is 4th down and a timeout.
Are they rolling him short? I thought he had it. No, he didn't. Okay, so he was short.
And it's 4th and 4 with 20 seconds to go. They will talk it over. Tom, I say you let Quinlan run with it. That's what got him down here.
The 4th and short.
This could be the last play of the game.
Potentially. Well, what's been working is Quinlan running, and I think it's tough for FD to make that adjustment when you have a 2-quarterback scheme want to try to get Quinlan off tackle away from Denzel Wilson.
It'd be interesting to see how the secondary steps up here just to prevent that Quinlan run.
Yep.
You don't want to overlook the receivers, but Quinlan has been very, very effective on this possession. Folks, the game on the line.
4th down and
20
1.
seconds to go.
Quinlan in a shotgun set, trips to the right. Woodley in the backfield to the right, and we have a timeout called by the fire department. The Bravest.
Might as well use it, right?
Yep.
And we've had one overtime game already. I don't want to jinx us,
Yeah.
but in our second broadcast of the season in New Rochelle, New York, with this very team, the Fire Department of New York, as they beat the Tri-State Shields in overtime. Looks like we could be, Tom, you said it under your breath, but I think it was in the 3rd quarter. We might see overtime tonight. So
I have a bad tendency to sometimes talk things into fruition. If that means anything,
well, take me to Vegas, will you?
Look at the NYPD fans in front of us. They are loud. Yeah, the crowd is definitely. You take a look at the shots here of the crowd right here.
That's due to our new cameraman too, getting them pumped up.
Kevin Talbot.
There you go. Bring that guy
line.
back, George. This is a great cameraman. Okay,
4th
this is
and
it,
1.
folks. Game on the line.
Fitzgerald lined up near side left. Woodley is the back. Trips to the right. Ramirez, McGrane, and Johnson. Quinlan is running, trying to find a receiver. Back of the end zone. It is batted. Incomplete. The fire department will take over on downs.
That pass intended,
and that should do it.
For Kyle Johnson, the all-everything receiver on the final 4th down play for the police department. They are unable to come through. 11 seconds remain. And some of the crowd starts to leave, but in this one, anything could happen. Fire department taking over on downs. They'll just have to take a knee, Tom. And it looks like we are close to officially announcing for the 4th time in a row, not only a national champion, but a 2023 Fun City Bowl champion, the Fire Department of New York City.
And this would be FDNY's first national title since 2017, their 5th all-time, John.
What about your MVP vote, Tom? I'm just curious.
I think, realistically, Tremaine Wilson has my vote.
You got it.
He's been,
big touchdown for Tremaine. We'll see what the
coaches
coaches say
today.
Okay, we'll be back. We will have the post-game ceremony, MVP interview, and trophy presentation live on the field. Tommy, you take it away from here.
There's a timeout on the field. Might be an official's timeout. Trying to get things sorted through. 11 seconds to go in the game. FDNY will likely just sit on the ball. Barring anything miraculous, this will be the 4th consecutive Fun City Bowl victory for New York's Bravest. And John Conklin will improve to 2-0 as the quarterback of FDNY in the Fun City Bowl. Yes, he came into relief last year, but he won the game's MVP last year, and he definitely deserves it again. Despite the turnovers, he finds a way to have a short memory and pull through. Conklin in the pistol. DeLay still hasn't taken a knee yet. Finally does. Will PD use their last timeout? They will. Wow. So PD will milk this one out to give it one last play. NYPD is not happy. The series will still be in favor of NYPD 31-19. But what it was before, NYPD had a sizable margin in the series. FDNY is starting to close the gap. It's still heavily in favor of the NYPD, but it will be 31-19. You take a look at the Axon body cam here. Referee footage of the FDNY huddle. Footage of the First Responders Network. NYPD will break the huddle. Cam Peake will improve to 10-0 as head coach of the FDNY. They'll win their 11th straight game. They have not lost since 2021. That's how impressive they've been. Conklin in the pistol set, full house, takes a knee, and that will do it. The Fire Department of New York City are your 2023 Fun City Bowl champions and your Division I NPSFL national champions. Beautiful finish to the game. Davian Quinlan unable to punch the ball in the end zone. The game, guys, lasted exactly 3 hours long. End time, well, 3 hours, 1 minute. 9:27 p.m. End time. 17-10, the final score of the Fun City Bowl. The teams will go over to the handshake lines now, and want to quickly shout out Nico Ramirez, who played his final game tonight for New York's Finest of the NYPD. Ramirez had a solid game as a slot receiver, had 4 receptions. We'll have John Heffernan down at the field in a moment. We'll get things settled through. He's down there with Mike Green, our head of production and development, who everyone has done a great job. As we'll see who the player of the game is, we'll have the trophy presentation. But, you know, I do want to say, Kevin Shanahan mentioned, you know, on playing for both the Fun City Bowl championship and the NPSFL championship, there is no safety net in this game. This one is for all the marbles, and FDNY does it yet again. Such a very impressive feat. These two teams lately, matchups have favored FDNY. To quickly recap the scoring plays of the game, John Conklin threw a touchdown pass to Tommy Heedles off the Kansas City special. That got the Fire Department up 7-0. NYPD responded. Anthony O'Connell threw a 20-yard touchdown strike to Chris McGreen. That knotted the score up at 7 points apiece. Nick Courtney hit a 28-yard field goal. That gave the NYPD a 10-7 halftime lead. And then later on in the second half, the Fire Department were able to take the lead off a 17-yard touchdown run by Tremaine Wilson, first-year player for the Bravest, scoring his 6th total touchdown of the season. And then Francis Cole knocked in a 34-yard field goal to give the Bravest a 7-point lead and a final score of 17-10. So that is where we are at, the 5th national championship for the FDNY Bravest. They have now won 5 of the last 6 Fun City Bowls. So in the 26th year of this league, FDNY has won it 5 times in 7 appearances. And I'm sure Phil Tafano, Bravest Battalion Chief Defensive Tackle, number 58, is smiling high right now on a lot of his former teammates who are on the coaching staff and front office for the FDNY. This one's for you tonight, buddy. I just want to announce the MVP of the 2023 Fun City Bowl is FDNY Bravest running back number 21, Tremaine Wilson. Wilson finished the day with 13 rushes, had over 70 yards, and scored a touchdown. The touchdown gave the Fire Department of New York City the lead. John Heffernan, we're about to throw it down to him. We'll just await for the official wording. And folks, we're going to take a look at his highlights here. There is the one touchdown that he scored. Wilson really is a bull, and he was able to keep the NYPD offense off the field and move the chains quite nicely. Take a look at this next replay here where he dragged a couple of PD defenders with him. Wilson out of Engine 63 played his college ball at Albany, cousin of John Moody, by the way, so I'm sure this is a special night for John Moody as well. That's Tremaine Wilson, our MVP of the game. As you get a shot there of the field of the two teams around the 50-yard line. And folks, we are going to toss it down to the field with my broadcast partner, John Heffernan, who's with the Fun City Bowl MVP, Tremaine Wilson. John, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me now, the MVP of the 2023 Fun City Bowl Combo National Champion, Mr. Tremaine Wilson. Big touchdown in the second half to put you guys ahead. Tremaine, you're a probie, you're a first-year firefighter, a first-year player on this team. What does it feel like to win the Fun City Bowl and be national champions?
Feels amazing, but I couldn't do it without my O-line. O-line played their butts off, and I appreciate everything they do. And shout out Engine 63, Ladder 39.
You got to also give credit to the defense of the police department. They did a heck of a job, really kind of jammed you guys up in that first half. And we're also going to join Stevie Orr. We're here live, Stevie, of course, yelling at us to get over there. We're going to let you join your teammates in a minute. Our MVP for the 2023 Fun City Bowl, Tremaine Wilson. Anything else you want to say about your teammates or what it means to win this championship?
We're family all year, and we're going to continue to be family. We can't do it without anybody else on this team. The O-line is amazing. Everybody on this team is family, and they showed it today on the field.
4 Fun City Bowls in a row for the Fire Department of New York. It's become a tradition here. 4 out of 5 years, including the pandemic. The winning streak continues, folks, as the Fun City Bowl champion is being honored right now with the trophy, and that's the Fire Department of New York City. From Mitchell Field, it's been a ton of fun here today at the Fun City Bowl and National Championship for the National Public Safety League. It's been a blast. Congratulations to the Fire Department of New York City. 4 years in a row. I want to send it back to my broadcast partner, Mr. Tom Scavetta, to wrap things up from the booth. That's going to do it here from the field. Mitchell Field, Long Island, New York. We'll see you guys next year. Tommy, take it away.
Thank you very much, John Heffernan, and an awesome presentation at midfield of the Fun City Bowl trophy. If you're just catching this now or missed the presentation ceremony, Tremaine Wilson won the 2023 Fun City Bowl MVP, finished with 81 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. And to quickly recap one more time what happened in this game, FDNY went up 7-0, a Tommy Heedles touchdown. NYPD scored the next 10 points via a Chris McGrain 20-yard touchdown catch and then a field goal. NYPD led 10-7 at the half. Things picked up for the Bravest late in the second half. Tremaine Wilson had a 17-yard touchdown rush, and then Francis Cole knocked in a 34-yard field goal to secure the 4th consecutive Fun City Bowl trophy for the FDNY Bravest. The series is now 31-19 all time in favor of the NYPD, but their streak of winning 3 back-to-back-to-back national championships is now over. That's right, folks. The FDNY, not only the Fun City Bowl champs, but the NPSFL national champions as well. And once again, Tremaine Wilson, the MVP. Folks, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to our broadcast tonight. Tonight's broadcast is a production of the First Responders Network. The Vice President of Axon Studios is Rob Wynn. Executive Producer is Rob Campbell. Head of Production and Development is Mike Green. Our Director and Senior Producer is Daniel Parker. Assistant Director is Tony Quaranta Jr. Executive in charge of production is Howard Bolter. Our Technical Director is George Zayas. Producer is Joe Ryder. Audio Mixer is Andy Zurcher. Technical Operators are Mike Lombardi, Bahir Mustafa, Elvis Colon, Jordan Alexander, and Kevin Talbot. Our spotter is Sam Thomas. PA announcer is Kevin Connolly. For John Heffernan, I'm Tom Scavetta saying so long from Uniondale, New York. One last time, your final score, the FDNY 17, the NYPD 10. You've been watching the 2023 Fun City Bowl and the NPSFL National Championship here on the First Responders Network. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you next season.